Good evening, all, and welcome to the Tactical Devils. Tonight, we are going to debate a player who is playing for Real Madrid at the moment. Eduardo Camavinga is according to a French news outlet, L'Equipe, or that Real Madrid is open to sell him. He's 23 years old this summer, with the La Liga club growing increasingly frustrated with the Frenchman's lack of progress. So it made me think right away. We haven't seen any links recently with this player, but we know we have been linked to him earlier, both him and Tchouaméni. So tonight we are going to have a debate because we have been linked to so many midfielders, but could Eduardo Camavinga be the one? Also, there are other things to talk about. There are some updates on the Monday, but unfortunately, he looks like he's heading to Liverpool. There's been some updates on Elliot Anderson. Something came out from Germany that Manchester United are still interested, and same as Manchester City. And Forest is willing to sell for a place between 100 to 120 million. So it's a nothing news, but at least we know it's still in the race for Elliot Anderson. Also, we have Ugarte heading to Galatasaray. So if we can get the money, I think United are asking for 40 million. We will have a lot of debates, as always, Mark and Stu and me, and we will talk about the latest Man United. We will do some funny stuff at the end. You know, I have we will do a analytics of Diego Armando Maradona from the World Cup final of '86. I have some clips prepared on that one. And also, maybe I will show you the pictures of Jarvis in the slopes, face planting, and I don't know if you can see it, but look at my nose. Looky there. So it is what it is. But guys, we will be back after the intro. So please do us a favor, smash the like, subscribe if this is the first time on the Tactical Devils, and Stu, Mark, and me will be back after the intro. So see you in a second. Yes, and welcome to the Tactical Devils. Tonight you have yours truly, Jarvis, Mark, and Stu. So yes, welcome. And do you celebrate? How do you say Happy Easter, or how do you say it? Do you wish people a Happy Easter, or
you just say Happy Easter, eat your chocolate eggs, have fun, be jolly, not be merry, because that we do for Christmas. But yeah, we do say Happy Easter, but it's an excuse to have a few days off of work, really.
Oh, yes,
that's
yes.
what the kids.
You're on mute, Mark. So.
Oh.
Me and the missus are like, happy 4-day weekend, you know,
exactly.
Great. And the kids are like, happy chocolate weekend.
Yes, it is. Happy chocolate weekend. It's a funny one, Easter, for us in the UK. But yeah, the kids, when they were small, used to go Easter egg hunting. That used to be a lot of fun.
Yes,
we've got some stately homes close to where we live, and you go down there.
You make like a treasure map and like
So you pay a fee per child, and the parents go in with them, and they you give them the map, and then they try and find Easter eggs. It's great fun. It is good fun.
Nice.
Back in the day.
I'm glad.
It's fun. It's highly competitive.
Yes, unfortunately, like everything else is nowadays, isn't it? It's all competitive. Everything is.
I just want to say hi to everybody who tuned in. I see Tom Porter in the chat. Big up, Tom. And we have We Deserve Better. WDB is in the house. We have Jarle Malmin. Big up, Jarle. Congratulations on Viking winning tonight in the Norwegian Premier League over Vålerengen. The team from the capital Oslo. So congratulations on that one. Jarle, I am Titanium is in the house, coming in and saying, big up, gents, big up, Bilal,
gents.
good to see you. Howler is in the house. Evening, boys. Evening, Howler. Good to see you. We have the Routinator coming in and say no more Madrid cast-offs, especially that get injured. Yes, that's a good point, and we will have the debate on Kamavinga in a second, guys. Let's see who else is in the house. We have Is It Just Me 43 coming in and say, evening, everyone. I hope everyone has had a good Easter. Thank you so much. Is it good? Is it just me? And yeah, that seems to be it, guys. So thank you, everybody, and welcome to the show. And while you're at it, please do us a favor, press that thumbs up. You know, it helps the algorithms and all that. Yes. So let's get started with the first topic. And this came out. Let me just bring it up here for you guys. 2 seconds. Something is really running slow on my computer. Okay, there we go. This came out. Yes, here we go. Real Madrid are open selling Eduardo Camavinga this summer, with the La Liga club growing increasingly frustrated with the Frenchman's lack of progress. So again, they are saying he's available. We know we need midfielders, and where do we go from there? Who want to go first? Maybe Mark this time.
Yeah, where do you want to start on this? Kamavinga, highly rated player. When they brought him in, he was ahead of Tchouaméni. I thought in the pecking order. Lack of progress is a bit steep, and it is coming, I'm guessing, from L'Équipe. Yeah. Is it L'Équipe? Is that?
It's not L'Équipe, but they've probably got something to do with it.
Yeah.
They normally
do. What I will say is Kamavinga had a bad injury and he struggled, and Real Madrid have had a lot of injuries this season alone. Like, I think at one point they were a bit like, who is it? Like Tottenham, you know, had almost 11 players out constantly injured. So I like Kamavinga. If they want to sell him to us, or do you know what? This isn't a buy. This is, let's go out and loan in them. They're quite happy to loan their little wonder kid out to Leon. Loan us Kamavinga. See if we can get gains, because we're not giving you any money. I don't think anyone's giving them any money for him because of the injury record.
No.
But what I will say is Real Madrid's training regime is intense. So intense. Like, you've only got to go back to David Beckham's documentaries talking about it, Casemiro talking about it, Ronaldo talking about it. You're covering generations there, right? Of people. It is intense. It's short, but it's bang, bang, bang. We're talking like press up. When in England would you expect people to do press ups in their training, day-to-day training?
No.
You just don't, do you? Like, they're like fit and things like that. They're a thing of the past. But you know, I can't criticize Real Madrid. But Kamavinga is a good player when he's fit, or when he was fit. We faced up until the day he signed that contract, didn't we? With Real Madrid. But I think Stu's probably going to come from the same angle. I don't believe the story. It's coming from the wrong. If that's coming out of Spain, then fine. If that's coming out of England, fine. But a French thing coming into the World Cup, I feel it's them just trying to take the sting out of maybe him not making the World Cup squad through lack of game time or anything. A bit like we're trying to do with Trent, where Trent's had no games, has he, at Real Madrid through injuries and that.
Yeah, he's not likely to go, is he, Trent, to the World Cup?
That's why I look at
it.
Yeah. I just wanted to add, you know, his market value, but Kamavinga's market value in 2024, summer 2024, was 100 million. Now, according to Transfermarkt, his market value is 50 million. So, you know, his price tag is sliced in two. We know there's a player in there. You know, he has a massive talent. He's only 23 years of age. He's still young. He has a lot of experience for being a young player. We've never seen him in the Premier League playing week in, week out against the highest competition. You will never get that in the Spanish league. Sorry, no offense, but I think the level of the Premier League is higher. And also, for me, I'm a little bit curious. As you said, Mark, I kind of agree when you say maybe a loan could be an option. If we can make a deal with Real Madrid, maybe with an option to buy or something in a couple of years. So for me, I agree. But his price tag, 50 million for a player like Kamavinga, when other players, when the price tag of Ugarte, for example, 40 million. You've seen players like, we have been linked to so many players, and all of them are 50 to 60 to 70 million pounds, and not even talking about mentioning the ones on 100 to 120 million. So, I think it could be good value for money also.
Well,
Stu.
I just looked up his wages. He's on 240,000 euros a week. So what's that, Stu? Current exchange,
have to take a page cut.
210?
Something like that. Look, I agree with both. Yeah, I think I wouldn't take him personally. I don't think he's quite the right fit for us. But I do agree with you. I think there's a player in there, and we've seen him plenty of times the games that have been involved with Real Madrid against City in particular, which we've always taken interest in as English folk. He's always performed at a high value to him, but he's a little bit bumbly for me. He's all left foot. He's not quite got the balance yet that I think we need in the squad. So if you loaned him, yeah, absolutely, you're not going to pay money for the guy. So I think Mark and yourself are right there, lads. 100% you're going to pay money for him. I think
I've had a thought, Stu, you saying that. Am I right in thinking they bought Tchouaméni and Kamavinga while they still had Kroos and Modric?
Correct. Same. So
really, he hasn't had a chance, has he?
Yeah, they bought them to replace. That was the idea. That partnership was to replace Kroos and Modric, and they're bringing in Rodri, aren't they? So you could well see Kamavinga. Yeah, you could see Kamavinga, Tchouaméni, and Rodri as their middle three. But then you've got quite an abundance of talent there, haven't you, at the moment?
You're getting Bellingham there, mate.
Yeah, exactly. So you've got
that's what they did. It was Bellingham, Tchouaméni, and Kamavinga.
Yes,
as that's the future, because Casemiro's gone, Kroos will go, Modric will go, which has now obviously happened. So when did these three really get to play? Like I said, this season they've been torn apart by injuries in midfield.
Yeah, they've been terrible.
So I think this is very, very harsh.
You've seen Valverde
like John said, you can't go from 100 million to 50 million. You can't do that.
You've seen Valverde come to the fore, haven't you, with all these issues that they've had. So, but I don't think he's the right fit for us. This year alone, we cannot take any gambles on who we're going to bring in to the squad, because whatever happens with Casemiro, we've got to have a replacement that goes straight into the starting 11. If Bruno was to move in the summer, we've got to have a replacement that goes straight into starting 11. If we get two extra backup midfielders, they've got to be able to go. No, agree. He's a bit injury prone, by the way. Straight into the squad, available to start a game at a drop of a hat. So, I think it's too important on midfield recruitment this year, and I think he's too big a risk for me. So it would be a no. But I'm not saying he's not a good player, because he clearly is. But I agree with Mark. I don't think he's had the rub of the green at Real Madrid. Jude Bellingham's not pulling up any trees at this point in time. Bello isn't. Let's be honest. He has gone backwards. I think he'll start the first game for England in the World Cup, but I think he'll be looking over his shoulder, because I think Cole Palmer's going to probably play the latter rounds. You know, we know Phil Foden, for example, he needs a new challenge. He's looking, very, very tight when he gets on the plane. And I think Camavinga's in the same boat. I think he's looking very, very tight when he gets on the plane and he goes to the World Cup. I don't think the change is right for him in his career either at the moment. I think he should stay, fight for his place, and see what happens. If Rodri comes in, I think Rodri and Kamavinga, by the way, will be a nice little...
But the problem is you've got both French central midfielders there, haven't you? Defensive midfielders. You've got both.
Yeah,
Tchouaméni and Kamavinga, they play the same position. They don't play a double pivot, so they're screwed anyway. Or didn't. Let's be fair. It was meant to be Pogba and one of these was originally the idea.
They don't do that. No.
Yeah.
But what I will say is it would work with Euro. Though these guys know each other very well. And another young French player coming in would work there. But I'm not going to change my view. I've done a lot of videos over the last sort of 10 days regarding profile of player rather than names. And this is a prime example, Stu.
Yeah.
You need people that can cover ground, are going to play games, right? And he doesn't tick that box. So it doesn't matter about the name. He doesn't tick the box of being able to be there for 30 games.
He's not right for us anyway, unfortunately. But that's just the way it is.
Yeah. Well, I want to go. I want to go a little bit further into analyzing this player. By the way, big up Johnny Kermode coming in, and I want to. And I want to thank Noradin. He sent people over from United Real Therapy. He sent us a little raid. So people who just came over from United Real Therapy, please join the debate. We are talking about Kamavinga maybe being linked to Man United. So when we look at Kamavinga, let's go to the Footmob stats and bring it up so we can have a look, everybody. So as you see, he's a number 6. Primary position is defensive midfielder, but he's played a lot of time left back, central midfielder, left midfielder, even attacking midfielder. But I think he's quite versatile, and him being a possible left back could also make him more interesting in my eyes. He's young, he's 23 years of age, he's French. His transfer value is now 55.3 million euros, so approximately 50 million pounds. When you look at his player traits, 91 percentile when it comes to touches, 96% when it comes to defensive contribution, so he's a strong number 6. Aerial duels 51%, not the best. Shot attempts, he doesn't even create goals. I think he scored 1 goal this season, but he's actually in the 69 percentile of DMs when it comes to goals. So that's interesting. And if you look at his market value, it's gone down from the height of 99 million pounds to right now about 53 millions. In La Liga this season, he's scored 1 goal. 13 started games in 22 matches, or starts a lot of the time on the bench. And his rating so far this season is 7.15, and that's green, and that's not too shabby, I must say. So looking at his referables per 90, orange when it comes to goals and assists. His passing ability, successful passes, is in the 89.3%. That's quite good. Successful passes is 92.4%. That's very good. Even accurate long balls, 71.2%. So he can dictate play from deep.
Jarvis, these career stats.
These stats are from this season. 1,270 minutes.
19 games he's played, majority is sub.
22 games, 13 started so far. So 13 started, 22 matches for Kamavinga this season.
Wow.
Okay. So again, when you look at his stats, you have a lot of greens, especially when it comes to defending. Defensive contributions is almost in the 90 percentile. Tackles is in the 98.5 percentile. Very strong defensively. So as a profile, as a player, I wouldn't mind this type of player. And also, I just want to add the heat map. On the left, you see Kamavinga this season, and on the right, you see Casemiro. So tells you a little bit, but different teams, different styles. Alonso's style of football, and it's Real Madrid. So you can't read much from it. So this is the stats. This is what you get from Kamavinga. So guys, do you get more intrigued, or do you still have the same opinion?
I've still got the same opinion. I don't think he fits us. I don't think he's what we need. We've got to buy local again. We've got to hit the Premier League. We've got to go and grab the types of players that we need. And if that's an Elliot Anderson, which I think, like you, Jarvis, I'm pretty sure he's City bound anyway. So it's a little bit of hot air, that one. Wharton, I like, the more I've seen Stack at Leeds, I've been hugely impressed with him. And I mean, hugely impressed with him. Sanderberg, Gomez, there are players that, like I said to you, they've got to come in, give them the shirt, and get on with it. I ain't got time to babysit you. Haven't got time to acclimatise you. I need you August the 16th, 17th, whenever it is, firing immediately. No pissing about this time. We can't have it. We had it with Cunha. We had it with Mbappe, with Mbumo. What was I saying? Mbappe. Fucking, I wouldn't have him either. Mbumo. We didn't have it with Sesko, so Sesko's taking time to get acclimatised. We didn't have it with Yoro right at the very beginning. We didn't have it with Lamans. Can't afford it with our midfield. We just can't. We've got to get 2 players in for definite that can come in. If you can get him, Jarvis, on a free, and we can get Real Madrid to pay the bulk of his wages, on a loan, and get Real Madrid to pay 80% of his wages, like we always seem to get fucking dragged into paying the bulk of the salary, then bring him in. Get him in. He plays 20, 30 games for us next season. Brilliant. Great in Europe for us because he's got European experience. He's got Champions League experience. Look at our squad at the minute. We've got
he played 10 games in the Champions League this year.
Yeah, so we got very little, if any, Champions League, real Champions League experience. And I'm talking real Champions League experience. So he would be good from that standpoint. But the 2 immediates must be from the Premier League, go straight into the team. Like I say, I agree with you too. I think, honestly, I totally agree with you. I think if you can get him on a loan and we don't pay all his salary, then yeah, he'd be great for us. So really, he's an interesting guy, for me. But as I said, I think he's he's all left foot anyway. We know that. He's all left foot. And I think he's a little bit, I don't like his balance when he's on the ball as a player. I don't think he's graceful. I don't think he's graceful. I'd say Rodri is more graceful. Rodri's not what you call a graceful footballer, is he?
Stu, you're spot on, because Tchouaméni's the graceful one. Camavinga's the breaker up of play. He doesn't even come out of his own half if he can help it. That's his style of play. He scored 1 goal, and I think he's had about 30 shots from distance. Do you know what I mean? That's it this season. That's a destroyer. I don't mind that. I don't mind a
destroyer. Got no problem with that. But as we've already said, guys, as well, we're going to be losing 8 to 10 goals, depending on where Casemiro finishes this season. 6 of those on headers. So we're going to be missing that. By the way, I must be honest. The midfielders we're talking about won't offer 1 goal.
Exactly that.
So we need to be realistic on that as well.
And what I'd say about the stats, Jarvis, if you're going to compare him to anyone, I'd be comparing him to Subamendi, because I think Subamendi is a partial flop at Arsenal. I think they could have bought anyone in and put him against Rice this season.
Interesting one.
But Subamendi was the best defensive midfielder in that league. Hence the reason Arsenal went and got him. I think Tchouaméni and Kamavinga don't come close to him, and I don't rate Subamendi. So I think comparing him to a Premier League player, Real Madrid control the game. They don't really need to defend against 75% of that league. So what's he meant to do in his position in those games? So it's very misleading. Forward passes, things like that. Because the Real Madrid style is rolled out centre back pumps it into someone on a half turn to play across, and then straight away now we've got 5 forwards going forward to find a runner. That's sort of, and that's how Casemiro used to play, right?
That's why they want Rodri in there now.
And nothing's changed in the way they played football for my lifetime, and I've grown up watching them. And as for playing left back, he played left back because everyone was out injured. I think it was about 2 or 3 games. One of them
did okay, actually. He did okay.
He's
Though.
left-footed, and you know
Yeah,
what a
he
left-footed
did
player
all right.
does. Growing
Yeah.
up, a left-footed player plays left wing or left back to start with, don't they?
It's
They
worth
do.
mentioning, guys. It's worth mentioning that Dorgu's gone on the Irish camp, hasn't he? And so's Martinez. It's worth mentioning.
Yeah, well, it doesn't affect their golf swing, does it? Their injuries.
Correct. Yes, yeah. No, but I agree with you. But actually, the game that I did see him at left back, I thought he was okay.
Yeah. No, but it's a natural sort of left side play down the left, right? It becomes more natural from playing in the middle.
Yeah, because he's a defensive midfielder. He understood the positional play of game, side of the game, and I thought he did quite well that game. Can't remember who it was against. I think it was only against Villarreal, but anyway.
Someone even shitter than that in the league. It's 2-1 in the league, and then Monaco in the cup.
In the cup,
Monaco.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I just want to add when it comes to this. we talked a little bit about this yesterday. Vinicius Junior, and just to confirm, yesterday's show, this came out today. So Vinny Junior will stay for a long time, and Real Madrid is the club of my dreams. He stated today. So I think we can put that one in the bin, and it will never happen. And we talked about this yesterday too, but I think it's quite interesting. And also, I have to be honest, I'm sick to death of talking about Anderson and Wharton and Baleba, because we have been doing it for at least the last 7 months. So again, it's just refreshing to talk about another midfielder that potentially could be available for Man United, even on a loan. Who knows what the future will bring. But it's not a strong link, just to be honest. It's a weak link from France, telling us this about Kamavinga. But I think we just got to talk a little bit about it. And you guys, I made a poll for you, and would Kamavinga be the right move for Manchester United? And yes, 7% of you said yes, perfect fit. 33% said yes, but it depends on the price. And 43% said no, it's not what United need. And 17% of you said not sure and need to see more. So again, I think the majority is not having Kamavinga this summer. So I think we can just close that poll. We will make another one in a second. I want to move on to midfielders. Yeah,
just before you do, old friend, I think it's worth a small mention about Mr. Vinicius Jr. again, because that is as bizarre a statement, if true, that I've ever seen from somebody of Vinicius Jr.'s stature.
It's not how he speaks.
In the World
Cup. He
doesn't speak like that, number one. Number two, Jarvis, when have you ever heard a player, and any player now, come out the day after he's been linked with, they keep their mouth shut? He hasn't supposedly kept his mouth shut. He's made a statement that I'm at Real Madrid forever. There's more to that story on Mr. Romano's tiny little tweet than meets the eye.
Well, Stu, would you like to maybe hazard a guess at why that statement might have had to have come out, and it's not from him, because a certain person may have overstepped his placement and been told you better retract that or you're getting sued?
There'd be a lot of things to it. There's contract negotiations on the horizon, as we all know, with Vinicius. He got his way with the removal of Alonso. We all know he didn't get on with Alonso and he wanted Alonso out. So he's got his way back, with that. No. Me and Jarvis concluded last night he would be an absolute pain in the arse at Manchester United, but 100%. Player that you must go for. But this does not happen. When Mbappe was linked with Madrid, he didn't say a word, did he? Until he had to. When Beckett, or this just doesn't happen. And so there's maybe a little bit more to that than meets the eye. Very surprised that Vinicius Jr., and I mean that, would come out with any kind of statement because that type of player will get linked with anybody at any time. And, it's the same way you mean like Lamar. Lamar wouldn't come out. He's 17, 18. He wouldn't come out and say anything. It's a really interesting, very interesting snippet. When Jarvis sent it to me earlier, I kind of looked at it and thought, yeah. And I thought, that's interesting. Because if you were Vinicius, what would you do? Fuck all. You wouldn't be bothered with that, would you? You're constantly.
I've been misquoted. It's been taken out of context. That's all you're going to say. You're not even going to actually credit it by countering it. You're going to say, I was misquoted. It's been taken out of context, and leave it at that. And that's what your press office will tell you to say.
Exactly. And as for Fabrizio to actually come out and state that, that's bold. I mean, that's fucking bold. Look, me and Jarvis agreed that the deal would never get done last night, didn't we, pal? We agreed.
We did.
I didn't even need to watch it.
Talking about the hypothetical. That's the thing. We made a show on a hypothetical. Yeah.
But that was a massively, massively interesting, tiny little statement, which nobody expected. I didn't expect it. Vinicius, fucking hell, I'm up in arms.
Well, what have we said about Bruno? What have we said about Bruno? It's a prime example of Bruno Fernandes for Man United not coming out and saying anything about his move and bullshit that comes out in the media. So why would Vinicius Jr.?
Oh, it's exactly not a hope in hell. So there you go. I just thought I'd mention that, Jarvis. I didn't want to throw you off.
No, that's fine. So, I'm glad we took this time and talked a little bit about Vinicius Jr. and he's not coming to United. And by the way, I didn't read out the last statement that also came out on the contract talks. At the right time, I will renew and I will stay here for a long time. So he's playing Mr. Perez's game right now and saying Real Madrid is the club of my dreams and I still have years left on my contract, but I'm very calm. I have the confidence of the president's Florentino Perez. So, we know how Real Madrid works.
Vinny is in a very, very strong contract negotiation with Real Madrid. He holds all the power purely because of the abuse he has taken.
Yes.
And if the club do not back him in pretty much anything he says in this day and age, he holds all the cards. And that's all I'm going to say on it. Those are facts. And if you've ever physically been to a Spanish game and know what those games are like, they are horrendous if you know what they're actually chanting.
It's true. It is horrible. And the other thing about Vinny Jr., and it goes back to what we were talking about a few weeks ago when I made the point that, in fact, Jarvis will remember this. I said that Neymar would never, ever be sold again when he went from PSG to it's too much money. It was about 3 years ago, 4 years, 5 years, how long it was. Jarvis knows because he was on the show. And Vinny will be in that bracket.
Absolutely.
He will be in that bracket. So
the best players are too expensive to sell.
You can't do it now. You just can't do it.
Sean's put something in the chat, Jarvis, if you can just highlight that one up while he's talking. About Vinny Jr.
Sean's comment, this one.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah. Okay. It came out today from Fabrizio Romano. So again, who knows?
You just knew. Somebody asked me what I was drinking. I'm drinking Moretti.
Moretti.
Which I do like Moretti.
Not sponsored by Moretti, by the way.
No, we're not sponsored by Moretti.
Other drinks are out there, but Stu will take 10 cases per week.
Other drinks are out there, and I'll take the lot.
Guys, I want to thank Steve Rebello coming in and saying, monster. Kids, don't drink beer, don't drink alcohol, don't drink energy drinks.
Do drink energy drinks. You've been up and had your match at 11 o'clock this morning, and you were up well before that.
Drink orange juice and milk and water.
I wouldn't drink orange juice. It's too much sugar.
Non-alcoholic beer, non-alcoholic gin, non-alcoholic vodka. Yeah, any of those non-alcoholic stuff.
Non-alcoholic rum,
cigarettes.
and Coke.
Not that cigarettes are alcoholic.
Yeah,
No nicotine cigarettes.
let's just end this segment. I just want to thank Steve Rebello for for the comment coming in and say, love the show. You guys keep it real. Thank you so much, Steve. Thank you. Rebello coming in. And also I want to highlight this one from Mick Ruby, MUFC Realist TV. I hope you're well, Mick, coming in and say, boys, keep your eyes on João Gomez. Man United are keen on the price. And also, this report came out yesterday. We talked a little bit about it, that Marco Alcaraz coming in and say Man United have made initial contact with João Gomez camp to explore a potential move to Old Trafford this summer. 25-year-old is open joining. Wolves are braced for a sale due to relegation, setting a price target of around £35 million. And other Premier League clubs have also shown interest. But, we talked about it yesterday. And but I didn't get Mark's take. So, Mark, would you take João Gomez as our second midfield signing or as our third midfield signing?
So I did speak about João Gomez, funny enough, on my show yesterday. We went through about 15 potential ins. He was one of them. No, I wouldn't touch him at all. To give the actual full thing without me just re-quoting what I've already said. He's not an international playing in the Premier League. So that's a downfall for me. There are players ahead of him, potentially. I would rather have the players in his squad ahead of him. He's always down near the relegation, so maybe he looks better because he's one of the better players in that team. 35 million, I'd rather take the risk on a young up-and-coming midfielder than someone, yes, he's Premier League proven, but he's not our first choice, is he? Our first choice one is going to be your Anderson, Tonali, Bruno G's, Waltons, Balabers, although I don't think we'll go for Balaber at all now. But you're looking at 80 million. So 35, go buy a youngster and take the gamble 20 to 30 million on the backup. Do you know what I mean? Bring in the defensive midfielder, but bring in a cheap backup because we need the extra legs. So look at some of these ones which I haven't gotten to hand, but I went through them where they're going to be in the lower bracket, 20 to 30 million. There's about 3 or 4 that we're constantly linked to. I'm just trying to get them up now. The first 3 that jumped to mind, but yeah, João Gomez for me. He's a bad player. Yes, he's Premier League proven, but I'm not building my team with someone that for me only gets on our bench.
No, okay.
Because I don't think he's better than Mainu, and we're buying a better midfielder than him.
Is he better than Ugarte?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about we still go out and buy an 80 to 100 million pound central midfielder ahead of João Gomez, no matter what.
Yeah.
If we're going to pay 35 million for our replacement for Casemiro, we're in trouble.
So I would take Gomez, but as you quite rightly said, Mark, as a squad player. I would have him all day long as a squad player. We said this last night, didn't we, Jarvis? That we'd have him as a squad player. He's not someone that you automatically, you're quite right, replace Casemiro with. There are better midfielders in the Premier League that can do that. I mean, for fuck's sake, if we were really looking at getting a player that would really add a little bit of dynamism to us, you'd go and you get fucking John McGinn out of Villa. Although he's coming towards the end of his career, but he's still doing it at the highest level. It's no coincidence that Villa have turned a corner since McGinn's been back in that team. I mean, Jesus Christ.
He is the engine of that team. He's such a driver.
Talk about one player removed from a team that could create such a downturn. It was McGinn. I mean, look at where Villa are now that since McGinn's been back in. So he's a really good, solid player, Gomez. I quite like the way that he approaches the game. He was brilliant on the 1-1 draw over Christmas. Me and Sean watched him live, and we were both, pretty impressed with him. But you don't bring him in. He's one of 3, Mark, that you bring in. You're not 1 or 2. He's one of 3. And
I went through my 3 last night, Stu, and everyone, I want you to go watch my shows, but I'm going to give you the very, very brief thing. I said we signed 3 players. We sign 3 and we try and get more through the door with sales, right? We sign
Okay.
Anderson, and we sign Lewis Hall. They're the two
Lewis
main
Hall,
signings I want, right?
Lewis Hall, I got no problem with.
And then I go all out if I can to get in Walton, because I think we go all English, and I'm over the moon with that. I'm more than happy. I don't think it's possible to get Bruno Giantonali, which would be my number one choice, but I don't think it's possible. Certainly not if I want Lewis Hall, because we ain't getting 3 Newcastle players. But Lewis Hall, Walton and Anderson, and then everything else can be free transfers, loans, and what have you. So that's how I see it. And that's where he would come into that category, as in the fourth player. Yes, you can buy him. You can buy him as a cheap backup.
So we spoke about Bueno and Lewis Hall last night, me and Jarvis. Both of those two will be ideal for us. I like Lewis Hall. Bueno will be cheaper. Probably coming in under 40. Lewis Hall, we're looking at 60, probably 70. But what a player.
Could be around 35 from West Ham, who's another great left back.
Yeah, Jarvis likes him. And then we were talking about Fernandes from West Ham, bringing in. We were talking about Wharton. I think Anderson's City bound anyway. I don't think we get Anderson. I think he's City bound. But I also like Stack from Leeds. You know, a serious operator. Surprised the fuck out of me. I thought he was brilliant yesterday. When I finished it, but I thought he was excellent. And then we looked at the potential of a centre half, didn't we, Jarvis? And that's kind of where we came down. So we agree we need 3 midfielders. Me and Jarvis were 100% on 3 midfielders. Definitely a left back, because we think Shaw's done. Our problem is if you don't secure Lewis Hall, and you know this, Mark, before the World Cup, we ain't securing him after the World Cup because his price is fucking rocket. Which is why I thought Bueno would be a better option for us. Not because I think he's not a better player than Lewis Hall, no chance. I mean, fucking hell.
We should go for the West Ham guy. I like him. What's his name? Geoff, yeah.
Yeah, so you're getting for 35. You get in for 35.
At the end of the day, you need, when you make transfers, you can need 10 transfers, right? But you have priority in, there's only 3 positions. There is a defender, a midfielder, and an attacker. That's all there is on the pitch, right? Forget about the goalkeeper, because that sorts itself. So you choose a first choice midfielder, a first choice defender, and a first choice striker. That's how I've always been told transfers are done. I see we have a first choice midfielder. Is it possible? We don't know. A first choice player in defence. I think doing the left back makes us rock solid across the line, because it takes all of our worry, when's Shaw going to go down and do we have a replacement? It would solve that. The midfield, we might need 3, but that's not realistic, is it? It's not realistic for Manchester United can go buy 3 midfielders, because everyone's going to want 80 million per midfielder. Because once you buy one, whatever that price is, all the others are going to be it. So it gets very, very expensive very, very quickly. That's all. But Jarvis, I'm sure you've got more midfielders to talk about, and we can go through them. But it's very hard.
We have been linked to so many,
Last night I made a comment, Mark, where I said that if we've got to spend 500 million in this transfer window, we should spend 500 million in this transfer window, because we've got to get it right this time. We have, whatever we do, we can't afford to fuck up. We've got to get it right. And if you've got to pay the money to get it right, you've got to pay the money this time. It doesn't matter anymore whether people cry about us spending 500 million or 300 million or 400 million. We have got to get it right. And the only way you're going to get it right is to pay the Premier League tax, the Vinny Junior tax, or whatever these players are that we can go out and we can get. We must get this summer. That is it. That is it. To me, it's our one and only shot. Because if the Glazers Sir Jim look at it and say, right, we've done the front 3. Is it quite right yet? We'd probably say not quite right, but it's okay. It doesn't need touching. But the middle, we know it needs touching. And the maybe one centre half needs touching, a left back needs touching, a backup goalkeeper I'll bring VTech back.
Please stop saying these positions need touching, mate, because I'm just getting flashbacks to my youth career.
No, I know, because but we'd go forever though, because we I saw someone the other day that turned around and said that if Grace is in, she's going to love this. Paolo Maldini, okay, yes, the Paolo Maldini came back and said, and came out and physically said this, and I've seen the interview, so I know he said it, that Dallo would fit into the original AC Milan team with Franco Baresi, Maldini, Costa Curta.
Yeah, but wasn't he on loan there?
You what? Sorry,
he was on loan there, wasn't he?
Yes, but he's talking about the Dallo today.
He's coached him. He's going to say that.
No, but he's talking about it. But Maldini's not going to come out. But when does Maldini speak? Never. He never fucking speaks. So to say that was absolutely phenomenal. So what I'm talking about is when you've got somebody like Paolo Maldini comes out and talks about a specific, if that's where we're aspiring to be, right, we got problems, because we would never push Dallo in, to us, Franco Baresi, and we would all admit this, even the devilish Tacticos, was one of the greatest sweepers in football history.
Defenders, just in general.
Yeah, he was just unbelievable. I mean, Jarvis is drooling now. I can see he's literally drooling about it, because we know how good Baresi was. And then when you look at what we need to do, we need Baresi-esque players. That type of discipline, that type of player needs to come in. And if we've got to spend the money, do it, because we're on the cusp of another managerial change. I mean, Jarvis is nailed on, and it's going to be Carrick. But okay, say it is Carrick, so he resets and starts in the summer. And if we don't back him, like we didn't back Ollie, we're going to be on the same cycle in 3 years' time. Go out and spend the fucking money. It's not our money. Go out and spend the money. Go out and get Jarvis and Mark. Go out and get fucking Wharton. Tell City to fuck off and grab Anderson. Yeah?
Stu, I have a quote going around at the moment on a thing where you have to shoot your shot, because if you don't fucking try, you're never going to get it. And that's what Man United used to do before Ferguson took over, and even more so when Ferguson was there. Go out. Do you want to play for Man United? How much is it going to cost? Yes or no? And if it's a no, good. You weren't fucking good enough anyway. And you go on to the next one. And every top club does that. So you're right. That's what we have to do. You're so right. And no manager is backed if you don't go for your first choice signing. That's not back. Exactly. That's the only way you back a manager. If you don't get it, the manager goes, mate, I know you tried, and now I'm with you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like fucking. I mean, if we don't, honestly, if we fuck about this time, you're done. Because
we said the same thing last summer.
I know, but it's true
with Amorim. We said he needed the backing and didn't get the backing that he needed.
True, it's true.
But we did what we said we were going to do. Cunha was through the door on the day one, wasn't he? Right?
Yeah.
Okay, and Bumo, obviously we had to fight with Brentford. There was nothing we can do about it once That's the one thing, you can't stop a club from dragging it out. You can't stop the other club unless you want to overpay, and we're not in that position anymore. Stu, as you just said, transfers are too expensive to go and overpay now. So we've got Mbumo. Sesko might have been one of our top three. We don't know, but we certainly got him through the door in the end. And Lemons, by the looks of things, was our number one goalkeeping choice anyway, and it was only up against Donnarumma, who we chose.
But we didn't bring him in until the last week of the window, so we had to start with Bayindir the first 3 or 4 games or whatever, So again, this is how we
because they knew something was going on with Donnarumma, and they thought yes, waiting to pull the trigger on it when they could, and then City went, where have you? Because no one thought City was going to buy a goalkeeper because they just bought Trafford. And if City didn't come in, we signed Donnarumma. I'm telling you now, and you wouldn't be saying anything about the 3 days waiting. You wouldn't, would you? You'd be like,
we all got excited for the Baleba and Donnarumma coming in, the rumors in the last couple of weeks of the window, but it didn't happen, did it?
No, I would like to say though, Lemons has been better than Donnarumma this season.
Oh my God, yeah.
I think they're the best two keepers in the league behind Raya this season, 100% from what I've seen.
I think Lamans has been superb. It shocked my life out of me. It really has. I'd have had Martinez.
Did you guys see the picture of that kid stealing Donnarumma's notebook in the penalty shootout against Bosnia? One of the Bosnian kids understands, stole his
but that was payback, wasn't it? Because Donnarumma screwed up the bloody sheet of paper from the other goalkeeper had.
I was too busy.
He had something, so he got hold of it, screwed it all up, and chucked it on the floor, and almost started a punch out.
And the rest is history. Bye bye, arrivederci, Italia.
So, I was too busy laughing at Italy going out. It was fucking hilarious.
Stu, did you laugh more about Talk Sport and people like that going on about them not qualifying, blah, 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 for 12 years? I'm like, you do remember they won the fucking Euros against us, right?
Well, yeah, that is great. Yeah.
Because they beat England in the final.
Yeah.
They haven't qualified.
Yeah, some bastards. Yeah, fucking hell. How can we forget that?
Sean's calling you out. He says Maldini's statement isn't real, by the way.
I think it was on April 1st. But I've seen the transcript.
Written by Grace.
Okay. Yeah, it was written by Grace Sheridan. It was written. I proofread it, yeah. So.
And passed it on to Romano to put out on one of his YouTube channels. Yeah, where he needs content.
Yeah. No, look. The interesting thing about statements, whether they're false or not, a lot of it gets lost in translation. Everything gets lost in translation. I'm a journalist. I know exactly how it fucking works. I know what's said and how people can twist the words and use synonyms to embellish a phrase that's been spoken. It's quite funny, really, because not that I do it myself, because I don't. I like to write the spoken word, but it's quite. It is. I'll tell you what. Gracie knows exactly that Maldini said Dallo was the greatest right back of all time.
I'm more worried that you can raise the dead now. You said her name and she appeared.
Yeah, amazing. Oh, great.
Guys, I want to talk about the midfielder that, I've been banging my drum about this midfielder for quite a time now, and it's not Sander Berge. By the way, it's not. It's another one, and he's actually doing quite well for your guys' national team. Plays for Everton. Fantastic midfielder, James Garner. And for me, we were linked a little bit to him in January, but we haven't heard anything else now.
Deal.
He did.
And for me, I'm so disappointed. I think he was the one we should have gone for. I think it would have been better than almost everybody besides Elliot Anderson for me. I think what he's done this season for Everton, it's outstanding. How he played for England, how he has evolved as a player. And, I love midfielders that actually use their brain when they play. Keep their position, keep it tight, don't get dragged out, man mark. Just use your reading of the game. Keep in position and know the ball will be there. Don't panic. And he's that type of player. And when it comes to interceptions and recoveries, he's the best in the Premier League this season. So he would have been the perfect number 6 for me.
I don't think he'll come back. Apart from, I don't think we can afford him now. As Mark said, he just literally signed a 5-year contract, hasn't he? Was it last month?
About in the last 2 months he signed a 5-year.
Something like that. But Garner,
which took out our buyback clause.
Yeah, we don't have a buyback clause.
We don't have a buyback. No.
Not anymore.
Don't we have like a 10% academy something because he came?
You have nothing once they sign a new contract after that contract.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's
within that contract.
Okay. We no longer have any hold over him, but fair play to him. He's resurrected his career at Everton, and he's become an invaluable member of the squad. He's likely to go, I think, to the World Cup. I think he'd be grossly disappointed if he doesn't make it. I think it'd be terrible if he doesn't make it.
No, so he will make it. He will make it. Him and Elliot Anderson will be the starting. I think even he will put Mainu on the bench because Mainu didn't play well in the last couple of games.
Mainu won't start. It'll be
Mainu won't go to the World Cup. Mainu will not
I
go to the
don't
World
think
Cup.
Mainu
You heard it
goes
from
to
me
the
now.
World Cup.
I'm telling you, he won't go.
Yeah. Bellingham just scrapes in for me. I think it'll be Rice.
Coming back from injury now.
It'll be Rice, Anderson, Bellingham.
Garner, definitely.
Garner will go.
Yeah.
I think Foden misses out as well. I don't think Foden he might get on the plane, but he won't play.
No, but Rice, Garner, Anderson, there's your defensive midfielders.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Everyone else can play 8 or 10. So
yeah.
What about Wharton?
About Garner, there's a reason why I feel we never brought him back.
Okay.
His height.
Yeah, Wharton goes, but he won't start. He won't start.
Oh, forgot about Wharton. Yeah,
it's Anderson and Rice. It's Anderson and Rice that'll be the starting two. Our problem's going to be lack of goals if Kane gets injured.
Well, no, we've got 2 great strikers. And apparently, we're not allowed to call them up.
Have we got 2 great strikers? Who are they?
Danny Welbeck.
Oh yeah, well,
you're not allowed to call him up.
And, he won't.
And if you play in Saudi, you're shit. So it doesn't matter how many goals you're scoring, even though the Premier League English strikers have got less than he has in total.
You want about the Golden Boot leader in Saudi Arabia, Mr. Tony? Yes, he is the Golden Boot leader.
Yeah, scored more goals than every English striker in the Premier League combined.
Yeah,
and yet, who was it who has recently done a podcast saying about the high level of the top half of that league would be give everyone in the Premier League a run for their money because of the 8 world-class players every team has at the top. Because they were allowed 8 foreign players in their starting 11. So, yes.
It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. But I mean, Welbeck probably he won't make it. He didn't. I don't think he makes it because
I think Danny Welbeck is fantastic. He should definitely be in the squad.
When's the squad announced? Mid-May.
So should Tony. That's what I'm saying. So should Tammy Abraham. People forget about him. Look at the strikers he's calling up. They couldn't hit a barn door. Seriously, they make me want to come out of retirement and play with just my left foot. Shooting is shit.
Good one. At least you're not humble.
Oh no, I don't have a right foot. My knee's gone, so I can only use my left. But no, Solanke, come on, he can barely do anything up front for Tottenham.
Can't run Solanke. No, he can't run Solanke.
Who else was called up as a striker? Calvert-Lewin. Fucking hell! Like we were hoping to get him on a free just as a backup to.
I think he goes. I think Calvert-Lewin might make the plane.
I know. I'm just saying it's ridiculous not to have those 2 or 3. Like I say, if you had Tammy Abraham higher up the list. It's almost as ridiculous having Trent as the 9th best English right back, or whatever it worked out, with the 3 players that are retired from the right back position. So I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, 100%. Sean comes in and say, I used AI to come up with a conversational chart for goals scored in the different leagues. It said goals in the Saudi League is worth 0.47 of a goal in the Premier League. So again, you have to score.
Well, there you go. So 30 goals in the Saudi League is the equivalent to 14 goals in the Premier League.
Or 15.
Well, that would be 0.5.
Well,
so it's 14. But the players above that currently is Brentford, Thiago.
Yes, Jamie. Yes, Jamie.
I've started.
Yeah, Haaland, and that's it, I think, isn't it? Currently, there's only 2 players over 15 goals, or is it 3 now?
Who Haaland? Who got that fake hat trick the weekend against the?
Yeah, that's FA Cup. It doesn't matter.
The FA Cup team, actually, Liverpool gave up because the greatest Premier League defender said so. Apparently, we have a super chat from Grace. Grace, I've been digging out some glasses. I think she deserves the And here we go. He's found it.
Grace,
Yeah,
I'm not getting
actually
glasses. They
used-
hide me behind the thing every time, so you wouldn't see them.
Grace is going to get 2 sets.
I only have my reading glasses. So.
Yes, Grace is going to get 2 sets for this.
So what do we want to play for Grace? Let's
She gets
play
the big one. She gets the big one.
let's play the Where is it?
Oh.
You should say it out loud, guys. She wants to get the big one for Grace.
She gets the big one. Gracie. Go on then, Jarvis. As you've got your reading glasses on, pal, you can have the honours.
I'm just thinking next time I will do this. so we can show well, we can't show Mark
Still
anyway.
hidden.
He's still hidden. Mark's still hidden. We can't do anything for Mark. He just
Poor Mark. Poor
still
Mark.
hidden.
You have to do it like this and then play the jingle and then bring up the super chat.
Yes.
So because
Yes.
I want to see Mark's drumming, and he could be the bass and I can be the guitar and you could be the drums.
Yes. Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I've given Gracie the Ted Bakers today. She had the Ted Bakers. So.
Okay, the Ted Bakers. So I will read it out. So Grace Sheridan D7L coming in with a £5 super chat saying, I don't know what was said, but Dallo is our best player. Stop hating. You all need to bend the knee like Jon Snow to the king of the right backs. A lot of low emojis for Diego Dallo.
Grace, I'll give
Never
you your
gets
money
old.
back for that comment if I could. Do you take Apple Pay? Do you know what I mean? It's like
Grace, I love that comment. That's how it should be. You keep supporting Diego Dallo, my darling, and thank you so much for that super chat. It means the world to all of us.
Yes.
So thank you so much.
And by the way, 73 people are watching on X
Yes.
and YouTube, 37 on YouTube right now. So if you haven't, let's do a like spike and everybody smash that like. So, we need all the help we can get. And if you haven't subscribed already, please be a subscriber of the Tactical Devils. Okay, next up, I have a midfielder. I sent it to you on WhatsApp, guys. His name is Jens Hjertedal. He plays for Tromsø. He's a midfielder. He's young. He plays from the Norwegian under-21s. He's the best player of the Norwegian Premier League this season so far. Scored 4 goals in 3 games. The league has just started. The world word around the block says he's the new Sander Berge. And when we mention players like that, for me, almost makes me cry. He's a fantastic player. He was man of the match today for Tromsø, won against Rosenborg. I know you don't follow the Norwegian Premier League, but let me just show you the goal he scored. He's fantastic. He's big. He knows how to head the ball. So let's just have a quick look at the goal. So you heard it here first. I know Sean talked about Jens Hjertedal a lot of the time, but
Danny B says he asked you about
I remember Danny B, and everything you said was right. So look at this goal. That's a proper header. If we ever lose Casemiro, this is the guy. Look at him.
Right, it's terrible defending. Is that Dallo? Was he being marked by Dallo?
I'd like to know what the goalkeeper was doing, crouching down. What was he doing? Didn't he?
It's something I've started seeing now. Stu. If they don't think they can get it, they sort of drop to one knee and like, oh, couldn't have got there. And it's like, you're going down, you dickhead. Fucking throw yourself across.
I know. What was he doing?
Go down to the floor on one knee.
I mean, it was an okay header.
From a different angle.
Okay,
Look how
Jarvis,
he's
I've got a question
time.
for you.
He's like Michael Jordan at his best. He's just keep on going, and boom, he comes.
So I
And this
posed
guy-
a question to my chat yesterday, and we sort of touched on it already on this show. You said about João Gomez, and we're saying like 35 million. Yeah?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. No, if you want to take a risk, as a backup, you go buy him.
Well, I think Tromsø declined 20 million euros from the Besiktas last season for this guy. So I think we are talking about maybe 20 million pounds, I would suspect.
As my backup for Manchester United, I would rather invest in a young player like that than spend someone who has not always been the greatest at Wolves. Stu was unsure about until he started seeing him near the latter parts of the season, and he came good. Well, I'd rather put the money into an investment then, but potentially you can still get back, even if it's 20 million.
I think he lacks spring. I don't think I don't think his heading ability is any good. I think the goalkeeper was woeful. The fucking defender, what was he, half asleep? Or
he
what?
scored 4 goals with his Nuggets in the first 3 games, too. So this is just
we want to see the other headers. We want to see the other headers.
Yeah, but that kind of player, a young player like that, who has got these great stats.
It was a good header. Yeah, it was a good header, to be fair.
And he's young. He's 20 years of age. 31st of October, so he just recently filled 20 years old. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's too soon for him, but as a player, I think he's a future star. Give it a couple of years, and he will come to the Premier League. That's my prediction.
He looks a big lad for a start. He's very Diego Leon-esque, I would say, in his stature and his structure.
Sander Berge-esque. He's very
you buy him now. Then I agree with Mark. You buy him now. You don't wait.
And you loan him out, Championship or Scotland.
You buy him.
You do
and you don't wait.
Yeah.
But I don't feel that our scouting network is any good, pal. And I just don't think we probably know about him. I bet Ollie knows about him now.
Ollie knows about him, yeah. But Diouf, the West Ham fullback, he came from Tromsø a couple of seasons ago. So they have talented players. And also Danny B mentions his Kinte guy. He played today, but he started the game on the bench. So he's a great player. Also a big young prospect, Senegalese. I think he's 18 years of age or something, but he's massive.
Yeah, we've heard of him before, haven't we?
25. Yeah. So we talked a little bit about him.
Danny B says Liverpool are scouting your man heavily.
Yeah. Go figure. So,
but again, that's not what we do, is it? We don't do that as a club. No. We don't know what we're talking about.
Scouting changed massively. So I looked into doing my scouting courses, and to be honest, there is no point anymore, right? So you can get your pass, walk around, scout players, in your park and things like that.
Oh, it's fucking hilarious.
Young players, right? But when you start scouting players, Sean, if you're still in the chat, he's definitely going to back me on this. And I think Danny and that know about it. I mean, you guys probably do as well. Everyone uses Y-Scout. Yeah. Okay, so it's a database of it, and all from every game, it's all collated. If you're in a high-profile league, all their data from their trackers goes on this. That's where they get all their information from. And so instead of going out, Stu, and watching it,
they don't do that.
Data. You cannot beat the guys.
Yeah, we had a Derby scouts at my little nephew's game, and he took a few notes about my nephew, and he sent it off. My brother said, "What does that mean?" I said, "Nothing." I said, "What do you mean?" I said, "It means nothing." I said, "He's probably a 3rd or 4th tier scout for Derby. That they give him a jacket, they give him a little pencil and a notepad, and he goes out. And he'll make a note of 2, 3, 4 players in a game, and he'll write a couple of extra notes about 1, maybe 2 players, and then he hands it into the regional scout that is affiliated to Derby, and that will be at a development level, not an academy level. That'll be the development scout, and he will go down and he will have a look in about 4 weeks' time, and it will take you weeks to get from A to D." And it's just, these guys and these managers and these young kids and the parents, they get so excited, Derby County and all this kind of stuff. And football isn't nowhere near as scouted on the ground as it used to be. When we were growing up, when we were kids, you didn't know there were scouts there because your manager wouldn't tell you, because you'd probably end up having a shitter that day.
Some guy walking a dog, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what it used to be. Yeah, and then the chain of events would occur. So, scouting at the moment, you're right, Mark. I don't think it's worth getting involved. You can earn a bit of money eventually, but not the low level.
Just as a heads up for everyone who's watching this video live or whatever, if you've got young kids and exactly what Shusha said about scouts, and you see one at the edge of your of the pitch watching a normal game, this could be 7s to, I would say 12, okay? Because after that, scouting's totally different. But if there's from the starting age to that, and they're watching in a park, whatever, ignore it. The only time you pay attention to scouts is at tournaments where there'll be two. They will go away, they will watch, and if your team is not getting knocked going through the, to the next stage or the finals, the semi-finals, don't even worry if they've looked at them, because they will only look at that. I live near the worst scouting network there is, and that's Brighton and Hove Albion, because they cover such a vast area. Okay, there's no one down here.
Yeah,
the closest is Crystal Palace or Southampton, and in the British thing, there is no other top flight club around Brighton. So there's scouts everywhere. But those tournaments, when you get all these teams together, massive. And it's the same when you go to London. Hackney Marshes is a different thing. That's where Ian Wright was picked up playing Sunday League football.
He was.
Right? Because it's so big, Jarvis. Can you imagine somewhere in Norway where they literally have 20 to 30 football pitches on a park?
Yeah.
We
do have the biggest tournament in Europe that's called Norway Cup, by the way.
Yeah.
In Oslo every beginning of August, I believe. So, yeah.
So you can have scouts there. They walk around and you wouldn't even know. Or they don't, but now they change the rules. You've got to have this club stuff on, and you've got to have the lanyard on show. That's British standard. Yeah. So, guys, please, if you have children, ignore anyone with a lanyard, because anyone who makes a big deal out of it, your child's more likely to fail. And I can tell you now, when they measure the forearm, if they do get there, and they take your details, if they're not going to grow over 6 foot, their career's pretty much done already as a child. And it's that simple. They go into stats that deep.
It is true. It is true. It's sad.
It's horrible. It's horrible. And I'm not trying to burst anyone's bubble, because everyone has the ability to make it if you want it enough. But that's how horrible it is in this day and age.
Interesting. I didn't know this, Mark. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. I see the time. We are on 1 hour 12 minutes. So I think we can do the Maradona segment. And, I don't have much to talk about. There are some wild transfer rumors, but,
we want
Maradona. We really want to look at them.
We want Maradona. We want Maradona.
Let's do the Maradona thing. Yeah, I agree.
Let's not cheapen ourselves.
Let me just bring up this. We can just do a quick one on this. Graham Bailey again coming out, not a reliable source, but coming in and say Galatasaray, other outlets have mentioned this, are pushing hard to land Manchester United midfielder Manuel Ugarte this summer, with the Turkish giant maintaining strong interest after coming close to a deal in January. So again, Ugarte to Galatasaray. Galatasaray has money. Players like it there. They want to go to Turkey. They make big money. I think they have less taxes in Turkey. So
50% tax.
Yeah,
you only pay 50% of your salary.
It's a good place to go, and you still get to play the Champions League and be at the biggest stage. So yeah, I think this is a deal that can happen. And I will be quite happy seeing us selling Manuel Ugarte. But the problem is, I think the club's asking price is about 40 millions. Could we get that?
The most we'll get is 30, I think.
How much did we pay for him?
55,
56
total, something like that. Yeah.
Well, so 5-year deal. He's been there 2 seasons. How much do we need to recoup our money and don't?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm happy with 20. So that would be his wages off the bill, and like you said, 5-year deal, and he's how many years in? 3. We're going into this summer will be his 3rd year.
Yeah.
So 2 years left on his deal, 10 million a year. Yeah, I'm happy with 20. That's him out and wages saved. But United are thick as shit. If you think getting 40 million for a 50 million flop,
Look,
what are you thinking?
You'd push for 30. I agree with you, Mark. I'd get him gone at 20. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Look, again, I'll go back to my iteration. If you spend 500 million, which we should do, then you take what you can get for all the players. You've got to stop worrying about now what you're going to get for players and just take the money. You've just got.
There's only money coming from two players, Stu. Two players generate money. Rashford,
Poland, and Rashford,
and one that we won't name because you're the same as me. We don't talk about him on the channel because of his 50% sell-on fee. That's the only place Man United are getting any money in from their transfers.
We're getting 40 million for Højlund, don't forget.
Oh yeah, well I class that. Sorry, as already in because it was.
44
million for Højlund. So yeah, actually,
here's the interesting thing. Barcelona are pissing about at the moment. If you believe what you hear about paying the 30 million, I don't think they are. I think they'll just pay 30 million. He's likely to win La Liga, and they're in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. So he could win the Champions League and he could win La Liga this season. Rashford, 30 million. Thank you very much. He scored against Atletico Madrid again, didn't he?
Have you seen some of the goals he's missed? Oh my god!
I know, yeah. But he's to be fair to Rashford, he's had an okay season, but he's had a 30 million season, hasn't he? Well, on the big scheme of things, he's had a 30 million season. So
with everything he went there with and having to prove, I think 30 to 40 million is a fair asking price.
Yeah,
but
whereas Ugarte,
he wins the league and the Champions League,
we could get more money.
I think you've got to be asking for double.
Well, I think Jarvis is right. He could end up going to PSG for 40, 50 million. But Ugarte, he's had his 20 million season. I agree. I think 20 million is a fair price.
He's had 3 managers refuse to play him this season.
So I think ultimately
coincidence.
United will try and get 30, 35, maybe 40 for him, but he ain't worth that. So
well, also we talk about profits, we talk about breaking even, but we know Man United is one of our biggest problem is liquidity. We don't have cash available, so that's also helps us, trying to buy players. Not only the budget balancing, it's all about liquidity. It's all about cash.
Well, you two own your businesses, right? So I'm going to talk to you from this side of the chair. Sort of, if you spend I don't know how much you value your businesses at or whatever, but say you're both running £100 million business. You spend £50 million to improve that, and you probably make a £1 million profit because everything's been a failure out of that. Because if you look back over Man United's history since Sir Alex Ferguson's left, how many players have Man United sold and made a profit?
Oh, our capex at Manchester United is rubbish.
So we buy players in, but even the players we buy in leave on a free or have ended their career at Manchester United.
It's absolutely terrible. If I made £1 million profit, me and Jarvis would be swinging off the rafters, won't we, pal? The pair of us.
Not if you spent 50 to 100 million to get.
Look, we have an issue. I think we're going to get an influx of money in the summer anyway. I think we'll sell our shirt sleeve. I think we'll sell our shirt sleeve. I think we'll sell our
training kit,
naming rights and training kit. I think so. I think we'll sell that, and I think they've already got that lined up, and I think we're in. We'll do something like that.
While you're saying that, don't forget though, 25% increase in salaries across the board because they get it back because we make Champions League.
We get it back because of Champions League, and I think we Adidas have got to pay us more as well, haven't they?
No, it's all. So the wage drop is because Adidas cuts 25% of what they're paying us, so their wages are dropped by it. So Adidas pay us some more money, and that's
that's right. So it's kind of evens itself out.
Tied in together.
Yeah, I think we will get some more, but like I say, they've got to hit the credit card this year. It's got to be done. Get it sorted, and and get it dealt with.
And with the new FFP or whatever it's saying, fucking sustainability. Where we make 600, 700 million, we can spend 700. If you make 700, you can spend 600.
We can spend 75% or something.
But ultimately, we haven't got to worry about the new stadium because they're going to run that I would imagine, as a separate company. They'll probably set up a new company for that, or They'll run it under Red Football because they're looking for investments, aren't they? And
I think they've just opened a Cayman Island account.
Yeah, well, it looks like, I mean, I don't know how true it is, but it looks like Freightliner are looking to, because they're a bit of a stumbling block, aren't they, at the minute?
They've done the deal.
Yeah.
They've done the deal, paid well over the
around.
but I would be bringing them in on the deal. I think that's what they've done.
I think they've done that. I think they bought Freightliner in on the deal. Yeah, because I think they've got, yes. If
we improve this, we widen that, you can get more in that area.
It's a value to share. So I think Freightliner will be one of the investors. And I think that's been one of the holdups because we've grossly underpaid for that, haven't we? Like, great. Didn't want 400 million for it.
Well, no, it's valued at like 20 to 30 million, the land.
They wanted 400 million.
Loss of land and future revenue.
Yeah.
So if you, like you said, if you can do a deal where we're going to improve the train tracks and everything around there, now you've got the boats coming in as well as train to get them out, you might actually make them more money. So that's an industrial sort of revolutionize of that
it's
area.
Great piece of business for both. Great piece of business for Freightliner and great piece of business for big firm Freightliner.
Huge.
Big firm.
We get a lot of stuff from my main business in by containers, and we come mainly through Merseyside. But if you can improve Freightline's Manchester area and move it downstream, so to speak, great.
Yeah. So, so I think there is going to be an influx of cash coming in. Look, us getting into Champions League, I think you get 30 million just walking through the door, don't you?
You're guaranteed 100 million by playing eight match or your qualifying matches.
There you go.
And then you start going towards the 200 million mark once you're qualified. I think you get a little bit more if you have to do the knockout, weirdly enough, because you play the extra 2 games.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, you do. You get paid. Yeah, you get one bonus, don't you?
But they say 200 million if you make the final. So it's 100 to 200 million you can make in one season of the Champions League. Doesn't matter what the club is, because it's the same amount every club. It doesn't matter. So if you were
it doesn't. Well, it's different for Bodyglint because they don't have the same TV rights deal, and smaller clubs don't get the same amount. They did the same share as big clubs, so all the big ones get a little bit extra.
Prize money though per round.
Isn't fair?
Prize money per round. They should have got.
No, it's about TV rights. It's about TV rights because Man United bring in more on TV rights than Bodyglint. So, it's not shared equally.
I didn't know it went that far, Jarvis. I just learned something. I thought it was a set reward money.
I think Bodyglint only received, for coming into the playoffs, I think they received around 65 million pounds this season in prize money.
I thought you got 700 grand per win.
No. It's not the same. It's not the same for smaller clubs than bigger clubs.
Wow, I never knew that either.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nor did I, because your game is shown live every single week.
Yeah. Wow, that surprised the fuck out of me, that is.
Yeah, cool. Can I just add, that could go up, that 200 million, because they've just redone the rights for next year for the Champions League with TV companies.
Yeah.
Even BBC had now come back in on owning rights towards that and showing
highlights. They're showing highlights, aren't they, for next season? Yeah, which is the first, absolute first for. I can't remember last time BBC went anywhere near. Traditionally, it was Sky, wasn't it? Sky had all the Champions League. Lost it to
by the way, we deserve better. 100%. This is the numbers 400 million.
That's what it was over 6 months ago. That's still so it's still identical wherever that's come from. But
that was the reports we talked about, like let's say 6 months ago. Yeah,
I think you've got a nice partner in Freightliner there. I think that's a great investment for them. Brilliant. I mean, just think about the construction. They can bring all the construction in on that line. Oh, it's perfect.
Wait until Freightline pop up on our fucking training kit. Right now.
One surprise me.
It's too small, I think, Stu, for the arm. So
just a big fucking train there.
Just a crane.
Down Freightliner.
The Freightliner training centre.
Right, come on then. Let's get back on Elliot Anderson.
Elliot Anderson, this report came out. Pettigol saying, Nottingham Forest expect Man United to remain serious contenders for Elliot Anderson. Manchester City are interested, but too focused on extending Rodri's contract. No direct contact yet. Forest still value Anderson at 100 to 120 million pounds. So this is German Sky. Petty goal.
This is why would German media have the most say about an English transfer? I don't get that at all. I really don't. I see it all the time, and I know he knows his stuff, right?
Yeah.
But it's always a weird one, like L'Equipe or Marcia or all these foreign things come up, and you're like, how are you coming up with something bigger than what the British fan media is coming up with? But Anderson, for me, I've heard something, and I've taken it a massive pinch of salt because I think, Stu, you talk about wide casting the net quite wide in the media, don't they?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah,
there's a lot of talk about Pep now and not being potentially stepping down at the end of the season. That's the most recent one happened in the 20 days between our last matches. Yeah,
big talk. Yeah, big
Rodri going, Anderson coming in, players leaving, Man City getting 60 points. I could say there's no smoke without fire. Something in that area might be right. And if you're Anderson's camp, you got to keep all options open, because if Pep goes, yes, you see Rodri and you'll be his replacement, because that's going to be that's the sales pitch. We're losing Rodri, you're going to come in and replace him. Yeah, but who's my manager going to be? And are you starting on minus 60 points next season? There's a lot of questions you're going to ask about your personal career.
Don't forget Silva's going. He's announced he's leaving.
Silva could be going to Juventus from what I've seen today.
I did see. Well, I also saw a couple of weeks ago that De Gea might be ending up at Juventus.
And John Stones still has not signed a contract. So
two injury free.
But again, it's people holding off, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it is. I think you wouldn't touch Stones personally with a barge pole anyway. Right now, he's going to be one of those. Do you remember? He's a Luke Shaw, isn't he? He's going to be injured until the World Cup. Miraculously, I'm fine. I can play.
I just mean in general, there's a lot of talk about all of these things over the last 18 months. I found it very weird that Semenyo took the deal.
Yeah.
But Haaland hasn't done any extensions.
Well, I was about to say Haaland will be quite pivotal, I feel, to what's going on in the city. Look, all intents and purposes, it's Maresca, isn't it?
What, coming in to replace him?
Yeah.
Him a company or the big front runners.
No, not anymore. I think he probably was. But I think Maresca could well be the I think Alonso's nailed on for Liverpool at some point, whether it's the summer. I'm pretty sure. And I just got a feeling it's Maresca, and I don't know.
The rumors has it that Arne Slot is done in the summer.
They do. I think he's alluded to it himself. Yeah. I mean, the greatest defender on the planet, if you believe Jamie Carragher, came out and said, didn't he, that they gave up against City. Well, that's it. That's disastrous. I mean, that really is disastrous.
He said they didn't even try the week before against
the board.
Arsenal, they played.
The board
they weren't happy about that.
Should have fined every single one of them 2 weeks' wages based on the greatest defender of all times. Comments. Fucking Slot may as well. I'm amazed he hasn't quit already. So I think Alonso's nailed him for that. And I just there was a lot of talk about when Maresca removed himself, because he did remove himself, didn't he? Let's be honest, out of Chelsea. Just like Glasner.
Him and Amorim done the same thing, didn't they?
Just like Glasner's removed himself out of Palace. I wouldn't be surprised if Glasner doesn't end up at Chelsea in the summer, and Rosinia goes. Maresca, if Pep goes, ends up at City. Wouldn't surprise me at all. The De Zerbi one, he removed himself as well. There's a bit of a pattern going here.
The De Zerbi one's the most stupidest appointment currently.
But he removed himself.
He's going to be managing in a championship.
Yeah.
On a 5-year deal, but cannot have a pay reduction, unlike the 50%.
I think he'll keep him up, actually. I think he'll keep him up. I hate to say it. I don't think players will keep themselves up.
I really don't think. I think the players are done.
No.
To be interesting.
But by the way, We Deserve Better comes in and say the talk is that even if they announce City's punishment, City will appeal. As far as I understand, there's no appealing on the 115 charges. It's
I
final.
thought there was no appealing, but I understand where he's coming from.
There is partial appeal. There's partial
Can't they take it to the court of arbitration?
No, because that's for the European, which has already been done, and they've already done that for the previous.
I know they did it for Europe, and
UEFA what they can appeal. They can appeal some of the charges, but not all of the charges, because of if they are done. I can't think what his name is, but he's actually a City fan, the finance expert, does Talk Sport and Sky Sports and things like that. Can't think what his name is, but
Stefan Borson or
Stefan Borson, that's it.
Yeah,
he was explaining that some of the ones which are outright manipulation of figures, they can appeal.
Right.
But stuff which that then affected, they can't appeal.
Right.
Do you know, like it breached FFP, so you've got your points deduction from that. The other stuff is financial fines, and they can appeal and reduce on appeal, maybe. But
one of them did used to work for City, didn't they? It's not Stefan Borson, it's the other guy on Talk Sport. What's his name?
That's the guy, isn't it? Is that Stefan Borson?
Stefan Borson, but there's another guy.
It's the one who worked for City, yeah.
He did work for City. I forgot. You're absolutely right, Jamie. He did.
Yeah, that's the guy I'm talking about. Him, and he went through it.
He's not Borson. He's the other guy, isn't he? Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, he's honest. Yeah, he's already told it.
So there is a slight appeal, but not on everything. So it's not like 115 charges we appeal on the 115 charges. It's a very small, specific area of the charges you can appeal, but you're still going to get your points deduction.
Either that or unfortunately.
Okay, so We Deserve Better probably have Googled this right now, coming in with the answer. Yeah. City could take a procedural challenge to the English High Court. The bar for overturning an arbitral award is extremely high, usually requiring proof of serious procedural irregularity or bad faith. So there is a slight opportunity to appeal, but
it's a tough ask. Yeah.
No. This is what we call it. Borson. He was explaining because they were found already guilty within Europe and went to the court of arbitration. You can't. It's a bit like the double jeopardy rule. He was basically trying to explain
guilty in Europe, weren't they?
Like, yeah. And that's the bit that they can tie up for years. But no matter what, they will be found guilty because, like you say, it's very hard to turn it over. But you tie it up, but something still needs to be given out, and it's not going to be a financial thing. What was it? Man City, not Man City. Chelsea got fined like 20 million for spending 200 million in the transfer market. Is that like, here you go, have the 20 million there? Thanks, we'll get away with it.
I mean, they are in big trouble though, aren't they? Because didn't they come out with the biggest loss ever in football? I mean, they're in big trouble. Haven't the FA charged them with 75 charges or something?
Yeah, but it's all pre-Abramovich, so therefore that can't be touched as it was part of the buyout. You know, when he bought the club, anything that Abramovich has done.
Wasn't it not posted 75?
No, I think it was all pre this latest one, but come through still.
Okay, I'm confused by it all, to be honest.
You do lose track.
Yeah, I'm completely confused by it.
Think of it like this, mate. You know, when you get a tax rebate, it's probably been a few years, but the tax rebate is never for your tax year or even the year before. It's about 5 years fucking prior.
Fucking hell. Jesus, fucking tax rebate.
You didn't pay enough tax many years ago. Oh, thanks. Here's £50.
No. Anyway, Mr. Maradona.
Yes, I just wanted to wrap up this Elliot Anderson thing because this came out that City have offered a new contract to Rodri, and Real Madrid are interested in Rodri. Decision up to the players' family is involved too. So if he rejects a new deal, City would ask for a big fee this summer, or he would leave on a free the summer after. So I think Rodri deal plays into this Elliot Anderson thing. So again, just wrapping up the Anderson debates, I think it's still possible.
Can I ask Stu a question? Because this is Romano with really bad reporting there again. Because if I was to offer you a player a contract and then it comes out that it's been rejected, you can't ask for a big fee, right? Because now the player wants to leave.
That is correct. because the
So
player.
that's
Well,
even
but he's still
more.
on the contract, so okay, yeah, they can't ask for a big fee, but they can ask
I
for a
think the
fee.
problem City.
I
have got-
agree, I get it.
I think the problem City have got anyway, and Mark's 100% right. If Rodri comes out and said, "Oh, it's up to it's a City have said, look, Madrid are interested. They put a bid in for you. It's up to you. Talk to your family, etc., etc., etc." Madrid will know that.
Mm.
And Rodri will know that. I think Rodri goes to Madrid. If I'm being honest with you, Rodri's got one. I can't see him going. If he gets another big injury, Rodri's career is done.
Where did they sign Rodri from?
Athletic, correct?
So he's Madrid born.
Yes, he's either Madrid born or I think ultimately, I think again, you're talking about surmising what could happen at City if Rodri was to go alongside Silva, then maybe Guardiola is on his way out. Who knows?
And maybe he knows more than we know.
Again, Rodri might know more than we know. Yeah, I mean Silva, Bernardo Silva's graced. I mean, he has graced the Premier League, hasn't he, for 10 years? I mean, he's been a
Fantastic player.
To retire there.
He's been a phenomenal player for City.
Yeah.
I hate him, but he's been a brilliant player for City, and he's going. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Are you boxing? It'd be
Big up
interesting.
boxing, yeah, and he's not leaving; he's running.
Yeah.
We will see about that. Yes, we know. We just talked about he wants Real Madrid. So yeah, guys,
That's
let's
interesting.
I've seen that.
He signed for Atletico Madrid at the age of 11, born in Madrid, signed for them at 11, and has only played for them and Man City. So to go to Real Madrid, hadn't signed your youth contract at Atletico is normally a big no-no in that area. But
I think Rodri's got enough in the bank, Annie, for what he's done with Spain and all that kind of thing. I think Ballon d'Or. I think Rodri is one of those that can actually get.
Of course, the only other one who's done it in recent history.
Who's that on the deck? Who's that on the deck?
We are going to talk about the greatest of the great through all times.
Yeah, what
For
kind of
me,
state of that?
the best player.
He's trying to get towards that white line, isn't he?
He's doing something. Yeah,
These are some clips. I just want to. I think the topic will be how football has changed, actually, and how good Maradona actually were at his time. This is back in 1986. I don't know how many of you were born that time, but yours truly, I was born.
5.
I remember.
I was 9.
I might have been a bit older. I can't quite remember how old I was.
Stu was 24.
Stu had a mustache at the time.
I had, actually, at the time, I had a fucking mullet.
Mullet and a can of Foster's.
I did. I had a mullet.
Rugby.
You won't quite remember the shell suits, Mark, but 86, I had a mullet and a shell suit, and it was terrible. Terrible.
Nikki found that funny. Okay. So we are going to talk a little bit about Maradona. It's a long clip, so I can't just play like parts, and we can just talk a little bit about what's going on. So the World Cup final against West Germany, Maradona was the player of the tournament so far. He took Argentina through the quarterfinals. They beat England 2-1. He scored both goals, one with the hand of God, the other one you all seen when dribbling from the half pass, from the half line and dribbling. Who was it? Terry Butcher, Peter Beachley.
We're not talking about that. We're not talking about
Peter Reeds, all of them.
You're not playing that clip with 2 Englishmen sat here.
I'm not. So again, this is the final, and Maradona also scored both goals in the semi-final against Belgium. Belgium, yes.
Belgium.
2 fantastic goals. So he was the player of the tournament, and the Germans were up against Argentina, and they had one job in the final, and that was stop Maradona. Maybe we can win, because he was the best player. So again, the referee, he wasn't having it. Maradona was lying on the floor all the time and received a yellow card. And you can see Maradona strongly reacting to this with all the Argentinian players. So again, back in the days, every time we saw Maradona, all the players just knocked him down. But he stood up did his job and played on? Yeah, that's a good question. That's a really good.
I've just started.
Yeah. So again, Stu, how do you feel the game has changed through the years? For the better or for the worse?
The game's changed for the worst, by far. When you look at, if you put some of those clips up now, Jarvis, and you look at the way that Maradona controlled the ball, the way that he ran with the ball, his low center of gravity, the way that players were able to get close and manipulate like there.
It's hardly a yellow card.
No, back then it isn't. No, back then it isn't. But look at Maradona. He gets up.
Maradona run into the back of him.
Yeah, but they get up and they don't, they get on with it. And I think the problem with today's football is it's too namby-pamby for me. If you make a genuine attempt to win the ball, if you look at penalties that we've had against us recently, penalties that we've had.
I think recently, that was Augenthaler, the German.
Penalties that we've had recently. By the way, it's worth mentioning that the great. I mean, this makes me drool as well. Franz Beckenbauer was the manager at that time, I believe.
No, I think it was in 1990. I'm not sure if he was the manager.
I thought
Beckenbauer was later on, mate, because I remember Beckenbauer.
I thought it was 86. Try and find out who the manager was. I thought it was Beckenbauer.
He might have been the next manager in.
Could have been
because of this loss.
I thought Beckenbauer was there. Anyway, but when you look at the types of players that you were up against, Argentina had Burruchaga, didn't they?
By the way, you're right. It was Franz Beckenbauer who was the manager in 1986. Yes,
I thought it was Beckenbauer. Yeah, but the team that they had was Tony Schumacher in goal. Let me get the team up. Let me get the teams up. Because I want to go through the teams, and I want to. So Harold Schumacher was in goal, and you got Pompidou. If you remember, Argentina lost their first game, didn't they? 1-0 to Cameroon. Aman Biak, I think, got the header. Pompidou,
that's 1990.
Is that 1990? Is it?
Yes.
So many World Cup games I remember. It's
so these are the teams. It's Wikipedia, but you can all read it. So you have Pompidou in goal. Jose Luis Brown, I think he scored in the final actually. The sweeper. Let's see, Oscar Ugerio,
Rummenigge,
Batista, it was Burruchaga, Enrique, Jorge Valdano. He played for Real Madrid at the time.
Valdano,
yeah. And the German team was Harold Schumacher. You had Andreas Bremen, Thomas Berthold, Luca Matthäus, Karl-Heinz Rummenigge. Yeah, and also I think they had Rudy Fuller.
Yeah, well, I was going to say,
Barski and Rudy Fuller was on
Rudy
the bench.
Fuller was on the bench. Yeah. There were Jorge Valdano. I remember it being an end-to-end type of game, and and when you look at the way that players were allowed to express themselves aggressively as well as technically, it made for a better overall game for me. I think the spectacle was better. You weren't expecting. Goals like Maradona scored against England, they were quite rare at that time. They're not that rare at the minute, anymore, are they? When you look at Ronaldo, when you look at Messi, when you look at Yamin Lamar, when you look at these types of players, let's get Mark back on screen, bless him. And then, you've got real hard men in there. When you're at Bremer, absolute solid. Rock hard as a player. Felix Magath, German manager, by the way.
Briegel. Didn't he play for Bayern Munich?
He did,
Hans-Peter Briegel, I think. He was one of the hard guys.
Yeah, you've got, let's have a look. Thomas Berthold, great player. Schumacher, we all know about him. Matthäus, tough player. Rummenigge, bastard. They're all fuckers. All of it, fuckers. They're nasty players. And you got, at that particular time, you had the flair, didn't you? of Argentina. They were the flair team, and I thought they well deserved the victory. But you know, for me, modernism in football, there's too much wrong with it and not enough right about it, I'm afraid.
Yeah. For the worst, football seems more regiment now. We had more footballers with personalities such as Winnie.
It's coming back.
You think so?
Yeah. Football goes in waves. Like I've lived through the best and worst, I think, of football, because the 90s to 2000s is my prime time. So that's me hitting teenage years, you know, start the Premier League and all the hard men still smashing people. Yeah. What you're talking about, through to where we are now, where everyone's overcoached. I've gone from the extreme, beautiful, lovely football where everyone was out there, you know, the proper Galacticos, you know, and now we've got Man City style and everyone's copied it, right? What I will say, and this could be naivety of my age, because Stu, you're remembering those players. I'm like, I've heard about 4 of them. Yeah, because of age difference, right? But there's always the next superstar in every country. So the next big German team after that, I could probably name a lot of their players, right? Argentinian team, you got Batistuta and people like that coming into their next squad after that. So, you know, for Italia 90 and things. So therefore, you had the young Batistuta on the bench. Players weren't as fit. So if you were a skillful dribbler, you weren't catching up. You weren't fast. You had to kick them early, or you couldn't catch them up and kick them.
That's right.
So the best players, your Maradonas, your Pelés, knew how to find space and utilize that pocket of space, like we now talk about a number 10 doing. So football was a different game. It didn't matter that it was physical, because if they can't get near you, they can't kick you. So when you can dribble a ball on a wobbly pitch, that's like playing on the beach. That's when we talk back to beach soccer and things like that, where you've got to keep the ball close touch. We all know about the golf ball with Maradona, the keepy uppies as part of his warm-ups. The guy had one of the best dribbling touches I've ever seen in my life, right?
Yeah.
But now I feel that football will go back to that, because fans are too bored. I think 2 strikers is coming back. And if 2 strikers come back, we need wingers, because the ball's got to get forward. And now everyone knows that it's going to be tactically moved. So what way do you break that, Stu? What's the one thing you don't expect to be taken on and driven past?
Yeah, complexity has got to come out of the game for me. So football isn't complex. It's actually,
if you look at how teams press now, how teams press now, we all know what every team's going to do, playing out from the back, how they're going to. So now we're pressing in 5 and 6s, and it's going back to long ball. Everything comes back in stages, because the only way to counteract something is to try. Okay, so if we can't close them down, I'm going to have to beat that player and pass it.
But when you look at, it
can only be played 1 or 2 ways, long or short.
Yeah, but when you look in '86, players were moving it from the back. They were moving it to a full back, and they were moving it into midfield, or they're moving up the wings
to create space for that pocket. For your game changer. Every team has a game changer. Nowadays, everyone's a game changer. They're all that good, but back then they weren't. And Maradona was the number 1 in the game changers.
My point is,
what he did for Napoli is just.
Well, he won them the league, didn't he? That time,
One player won the league.
The interesting thing about that, you know, the game in the 80s and the 90s is that, and the 50s and the 60s, nothing's changed. When people talk about specifics in the game today, it happened back in the 50s, the 60s, because you can only play football a certain number of ways, and it doesn't matter how you do it. The aim is to get from A to B, score more goals than the opposition. Still 11 players, the pitch, the goals are all still the same. But Maradona,
the rules.
Maradona, and the way they did it, the way that Germany played with a flowing 4-4-2 and were absolutely fucking rock hard, solid unit, solid team. Argentina played with flair, but they always got the ball into Maradona in the middle of the park, Jarvis, deep. He always took it deep. He was never goal hanging. He was never on the 18-yard line. He was always fucking around the centre circle, sometimes in his own half to receive the ball, where he scored his goal, by the way, against England, in his own half, because that's how football was. Mark's right, the fitness wasn't as great. Then.
By the way, this is the deep 4-4-2. It looks more like, because they always played with the libero, the deep lying sweeper playmaker type of player, and
Beckenbauer himself. That was Beckenbauer himself. That was his game.
Yeah.
But that's what made it easy in that game for Maradona, because now you're down. Now you're playing 11 against 10 because the sweeper comes out the game and you've got an extra man. And that extra man was Diego Maradona, who now had a pocket of space to receive the ball.
But what people
also didn't have a great final. The thing is, he didn't have a great final. Yeah, he made the assist for the winning goal from Buruchaga on the 3-2 at the dying minutes, because Germany equalized 2-2, and the game was going either way. And then Maradona put out some magic in the 85th minute or something, and Argentina won it. But he had
what did they do for 85 minutes until that magic happened?
Well, they kicked him down.
Yeah, so he mustn't need to have a great game to influence the game. What he done was, shit, we have to stop him. So you're already down 1 because of the sweeper. Now you're technically going to do a man marking job and kick him every time you get a chance. And then everyone else gets to have a good game because they're focusing on one player. That's the pros and cons of man marking a player or worrying about one individual. We've seen it with Ronaldo when he was at United in his second and third season. We can go back through Pele, Ronaldo, Messi, Maradona, Zinedine Zidane. If you focus on that one player, it allows the others. So sometimes he'll go, yeah, I know they're going to kick me. I know they're going to hurt me.
And we're missing the bigger picture. We're missing the bigger picture, aren't we? And the bigger picture is that today's Maradona, whoever that is, Messi or Lamine Yamal, he gets kicked once, okay, twice. Oh, fucking hell, the world's ended. Maradona was putting his arse 6 times in that game that I can remember. Probably even 7.
He only 1 yellow card, right?
Yeah, but he got up. Fuck it, I don't care. Takes the ball, does it again, bang. Gets up, takes the ball, does it again, bang. And a different area of the pitch. It's like, as soon as he comes into me, I'm having him.
But that's the rule changing, Stu. If they never changed that rule, every player would have to get up. They would, or they wouldn't play football. So by changing the rules and saying, no, you can't do that.
We want these players to get up, and it doesn't happen anymore. And I want these players to, because I tell you now, the players that got hit in today's game are getting hit the same ferocity as what Maradona's being hit. In fact, Maradona's being hit a lot harder. We all remember Caniggia, don't we, against Cameroon? And that amazing run. 3 times they had 3 chops at him before he fell.
The first clip you showed where Thingy steps across him, and like I say, he's running to the back of him. That's not even a foul in today's game. I'm telling you now, because
that looked all right.
He's seen the ball through to the goalkeeper. That's how we see that happen now. You'll do that to someone like Traore. You'll step across him because you know he's going to do you for pace. He'll smash into the back of you. You'll get the free kick, right? But then those other ones showed a late tackle. We do that to stop someone from running through. Casemiro does that every game for Manchester United.
Yeah, this one.
Just how it's punished.
You see this one here. That's okay. I mean, the defender was wrong anyway. He was wrong
side.
That's
an instant yellow card, right?
Yeah, he was wrong side of Maradona anyway. If you look at where Maradona was going, you knew he was a left footer. Why you came into your right hand side, his right hand side is beyond me. I don't know why you
couldn't catch him, Stu. I can't catch him.
You go.
He's going to knock the ball, go past me, and
you go head on him though, don't you? But you go head on him there. I mean, you would just come in head on. That's what I would have done. I don't know why he came in on his right, because trajectory he's going to go. The thing about Maradona was, and the beauty of Maradona was, he was so good with his left foot. Everybody knew what he was going to do, but sometimes you just couldn't stop it, and that was the genius of what Maradona had.
But guys, do you see Maradona actually trying to stay on his feet?
Yeah, he's a proper
trying to.
He's a proper footballer.
No, I don't see him trying to stay on his feet, because I think, and this was the smartest thing I was ever told, if you're quick, expect them to take you down. You need to protect yourself. Look, see how he angles that foot behind like we do in a penalty.
Yeah.
I don't dive head first. He's taking his legs. you can try and keep your feet, but I don't think he is generally trying to keep his feet. I think that's just contact going down. Clipped his heels, clipped across. But we can agree to disagree there. But Maradona, that's what he was great at. He knows he's going to get kicked. I'll get the foul. We're up the pitch. Get the foul. We're further up the pitch. That's what Pele, Maradona, Eusebio, that's what they all did for their clubs and their international teams. Because, okay, Maradona and Pele played for two of the greatest. Eusebio, you put Eusebio in the conversation with those two, don't you, back in the time? But he was at Portugal and nowhere near as good. George Best in the conversation with those kind of players. Just progress them up the pitch. Take the ball, beat a player. If you can do something with it, great, but get the foul, we'll progress up the pitch.
I think the thing about that particular thing for me, not this particular clip, the other clip it's just piss poor defending. I mean, it really is
piss poor defending. Yes,
as much as good as Maradona is, it's piss poor defending because you always take him head on. You always do. What I liked about Maradona though was his ability to worm and squirm his way out of the most difficult positions on the pitch. You know, 2 or 3 players around him. He had the strength, the guile, the agility, the ability to make some of the best defenders in the world look mugs, and I quite like that. But
when you talking about trying to stay on his feet, look at this clip. Takes on.
Oh, well, he was in on goal as well there.
Yeah, he's in on goal, Jarvis. I would, and see there, he ain't trying to stay on his feet there, mate.
But you know that was
fucking got a 10.
I want to point something out about this, by the way. That is old school defending at the highest caliber. That's a goalkeeper knowing he's going to get clocked, a defender knowing he's going to get clocked, and an attacker knowing he's going to get clocked. But still, all 3 of them thought, fuck it, I'm going for it. Absolutely.
Get the ball or get the man. I don't care.
All 3 of them at the same time.
Well, it was no penalty, by the way. The referee didn't give it. Maradona got the ball. Look at it. Let me slow it down. 0.25. Look at this.
Look.
There.
He's not scoring.
Left leg. He got the ball first.
Yeah, but he's still not scoring. He's kicked it away from goal.
It's fine.
It's not a penalty.
It's the greatest dive in history.
Well, I can agree. I can agree on that.
It's the greatest dive in history. I mean, I fucking love it. Absolutely love it. Absolutely phenomenal dive. But that would never happen today, though, was my point. That would never happen.
Because you could make a tackle. That's the reason, isn't it? Back then, you could make a tackle. There was no such thing as jockeying.
No, God, no, you didn't jockey.
But guys, let's just compare, because a couple of weeks ago against Burnley, everybody was losing their head because a guy touched Ahmad's shoulder and he fell down. And you look at this, and you guys sit there. That's no penalty.
No, but that's the case. But that's where we are, and this is why. You know, I've always said. I've always said why I hate modernism in the game. That's the example I've always tried to demonstrate. There's no difference between Semenyo, Martinez, and Lamens. 3 people going for the same ball. The fact is, right, Semenyo would bottle it, Lamens would probably bottle it, and Martinez wouldn't. And there's your difference. 3 players there. Maradona knew, and you know this, Mark, going through, Maradona knew he was going to get clattered. The defender knew he was going to get clattered. The goalkeeper knew he was going to get clattered.
Hey, as Roy King said, if you come for it, come with
the different angle.
And they never stopped. All 3 of them just didn't stop. In fact, go back, Jarvis, because they reached the ball at the same fucking time. If you go back, the distance, look, is the same virtually. And they reached the ball at the same time. It's brilliant football. Maradona was superb there.
A few weeks back, I posted the link to my last game in goal when we won the cup final, and there's a clip in there where I wipe out my centre back and their striker because I called for the ball low on the floor, and I told everyone, I said, if I call for the ball, I'm taking the ball, right? So if you're going to keep going, you'll just be braced for me coming through you if I've called it. I come out, absolutely. I take the ball, and the next thing I see the defender, while I've got the ball on the floor, and the striker flipping in midair over the top of me. Even my best mate who done the commentary for your instant replay was like, he's done that all his life. Like, you just know it's coming because that's my ball. I've called for it, right? And that's what would have happened there. Keepers, well, I can't stop running, and he's. But now Stewie's spot on. What was the one? Was it Newcastle where he got the tip of his toe to the ball, and everyone's screaming for a red, and you're like, he's actually fucking saved it.
Red card. Yeah. Oh, honestly, those types of games there. You know, you had two solid midfielders bang, just brick walls against each other. You know, even England. You know, Terry Butcher. Yes. Oh, there's nails. Peter Reid. Okay, great player. Couldn't run for fucking toffee. That's why he's never going to catch Maradona. Should have kicked him on the halfway fucking line. There's no pissing about. Bang, have that.
I would love to see Maradona play in Maradona and Pele, Eusebio, in today's game, right? Because defenders are smarter because now they have to stay on their feet. The wrong tackle can be a red card. If you're isolated, you can be off, right? I think back to recently when I've seen some of the messy ones where he jumps and bounces off the player and takes the ball to the right, which is very funny enough. It's his godfather, Maradona-esque, right? But I don't see Maradona dribbling past most second-rate defenders in this day and age because it's the golden rule of defending now is delay, get back in the numbers.
Yeah, show him the line.
Whereas you can give me 100 clips, Jarvis, of Maradona dribbling and beating players, but I guarantee you nearly every defender is on the floor because they've tried to take his legs or take the ball because that was the golden rule back then.
Yeah.
Get the player or get the ball in that order. Do you see what I mean? You hit the player. Can you take the ball afterwards? Yes.
The golden rule back then,
get the player.
The golden rule back then was slide tackling, and I promise you now it was a fucking art. To get it right was an art. And you got it wrong.
What I mean is,
more often than not,
if you missed it, your arm came up and you clipped his legs. You didn't let him go past you.
Balls. It was normally balls. It wasn't legs. It was balls.
But you know what I mean? You stop the player one way or another. Whereas you can't do that now.
Yeah, if you missed a slide tackle and you're going past the player, that's what you used to do. Right in the nuts. And he would go over. And you get away with it.
If you missed the player back then from a slide tackle, it was a shit fucking tackle because you only went in close. You didn't lunge from distance. So
no, it was a crap tackle because the pitch wouldn't take you anywhere because you get stuck in the pitch. You literally would get stuck in the pitch. So you had to get it right. And 9 out of 10 times what happens is the player would fall on top of you. And that's when you start grappling with him. And the ref just used to laugh because ultimately that's how it went down. Football went down.
One of them, wouldn't it? Get up.
Yeah, get on with it. But today, you're going for a header. I mean, fucking a couple of weeks ago, a player's backing into me, so I've got him here. Not here. I've got him here. And I've been penalised. I'm going, what for? He's got his arm round here and I've got him here. What are you penalising me for? You know.
Well, we had it in our game. 2 hands on the shoulders, heads it over the top, right? I'm like, his hands are on top of his shoulders and you can see him. Yeah, but he hasn't stopped him from jumping. Well, what? Because my player didn't try to jump because he's got 2 hands on the shoulders, already knows it's a foul. You're not going to give it a foul. I said, are we going back in old times when I was told not to go? You know, if you don't go down, I'm not giving a penalty.
2 hands on the shoulders has always been a free kick.
1 hand, fine, because you're using your upper one.
You're okay. 2 hands has always kind of been.
No, you can't jump like this. That's
one round here is okay, or always used to be. And you know,
Jarvis, I remember. Do you remember Jarvis saying about Mbumo? Who I can't was it Ake? Always on Mbumo's shoulders.
Always.
And it wasn't given. Again, not understanding the rule change.
Look at Rudiger. Always with his arms.
Doing that. You know, you can't go in and
Chris Smalling, he couldn't help himself all the time.
They always say you've got to put your arms down, you've got to jump like that. It's fucking impossible to get off. You've got to get leverage. You've got to get leverage off a player. But what's happening is a good striker's backing into you. So you are using him, and that's why all this wrestling should be allowed. It should be allowed to go on. A little bit of wrestling, a little tussling is not a problem for me. It never has been. I don't mind getting involved in it.
Yeah.
But
well, I've said before, our strikers need to learn how to create space between them and the defender when pinned
all the time.
Yeah. This is the final moment, the only moment of brilliance Maradona had in this game, I would say. Actually,
he wasn't good, was he? Yeah.
So
I
you
say
have
that pitch looked impeccable.
Yeah, that's what's the name of the pitch in Mexico?
It was the
Azteca.
It was the Azteca. But when you see him start running, you know that pitch ain't flat.
Oh God, no. No,
right now,
yeah, it was never flat. I mean, it's flat as they could get it at the time. And the actual, by the way, it's worth noting that the ball was the Adidas Azteca.
Yeah. And by the way, you have number 7 here. That's Burruchaga scoring the winner, and I think his curving is run like this, and this is Maradona. And it's so simple, the through ball, but again, that's just
when I was 16, do you know when I was 16, everything was fascinating to us at that age, but I'd never seen nets that deep in my life. They were so deep. We'd never seen nets that deep before.
Yeah, they were sort of rectangular, weren't they? They come out maybe, I don't know, 3 foot and then just straight down at the back, down from the back. Yeah, I remember.
We'd only been a few years outside the proper goalposts, with had stanchions in them. It was amazing. They were so
square goalposts, not
square goalposts. Yeah, so deep. It was unreal. We're all going, oh my God.
So you were saying, Mark, something about this.
Do you remember last Monday we spoke about Pep saying about the
the half turn
and not receiving the ball?
It's Walker. Kyle Walker.
Yeah, Walker said about it, how it was instructed, it's faster, right? So this is a prime example of Pep saying something that's not new to the game. Because when you watch this goal, the guy is on the half turn and lets the ball run across him. Because being on the half turn, he knew he could see the game in front of him, so he knew he could let it run. He didn't need to touch it. This is a perfect example of that. So half turn, let it run across onto his other foot. Half turn, let it run across because I don't need to take a touch.
So let's see it one more time.
It's just perfect, it's what Stu said. Football doesn't change.
No, that, by the way, was done on the half volley. That is a very, very, very difficult little dink at the time when he was leaning back. Lovely play.
Anticipating the whack in the back that was coming.
Correct.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Correct. Burruchaga saw it coming a mile off. Burruchaga saw it coming, as Jarvis mentioned 30 seconds earlier.
And you see he's surrounded by West German players.
It's very difficult.
You don't have a split second more in this decision.
They're absolutely going to clatter him.
Yeah.
And he knows he's going to get clattered.
You see, they're even trying, but they can't reach him.
Wonderful ball.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right on Burruchaga's stride. And keep rolling it, John. Who's that?
Oh.
Get him off. Get him off.
I need to see that shit.
So for me, this is a pivotal moment in my love for football. Seeing Maradona in that final, you're just raising the World Cup trophy, and that was
robbed.
Do you think England could have won it?
We should have. Gary Lineker should have got that second. That Barnes cross was phenomenal. He just couldn't stick it on the back post. If we got to 2-2,
he scored 6 goals that tournament. He was the
top goal scorer.
Yeah.
If he'd scored that and we'd brought it back to 2-2, I think we might have gone on to win it, because I think we would have definitely beaten Belgium. Although I don't know if we could have got. I don't know. Actually, thinking about it,
the West Germany would have won on penalties in the final.
I'm thinking. Yeah, the Germans were very, very good. I think we were too tired by the time we got to the quarters. We weren't fit enough as a group. It was too hot for us.
That comment, I'd like to say something about that. The one.
What comment was that?
Nicky's comment you just taken off the screen, Jarvis.
Oh, which one? This one.
No, yeah, so it is a really good point, because back in the 70s when I was growing up, Nicky, absolutely players weren't idolised like they are today. I totally agree with you. The way that social media has risen and put these footballers on a pedestal, which I don't agree with, by the way, it's made them feel untouchable, and that's the biggest problems that clubs have today. You know, Diego Maradona, back in his day, you know, in the 80s and before he started on his drugs run in the 90s, but certainly the 80s, on the area that we're talking about now, was by far the best player on the planet, by far. There were some great players. You know, Lothar Matthäus was a wonderful exponent of a midfielder. He really was.
Stu,
Barashaga.
roughly how old were you then for that?
16. I was 16.
Okay, so I was 16 when Ronaldo, proper Ronaldo,
Exactly.
was doing exactly the same stuff Maradona did, and was by far the great potential to be the greatest footballer of all time.
No, I agree with you. And today, Maradona in particular would have been ruined, because he was ruined with cocaine when it wasn't, you know, when football wasn't nowhere near as popular as it is today. Ronaldo, one of the biggest questions still that nobody knows is, was it 94 when Ronaldo, you know, came out, or 98? I can't remember when it was, and he just didn't perform in the final. He performed immaculately up until that point, and then
98 was Brazil France final. So
it was 98. So, and he just couldn't cope.
Do you remember any of these names? You have Peter Shilton, Glenn Hoddle, Brian
every
Robson,
single one.
Terry Butcher,
Every single
Ray
one.
Wilkins,
Single one.
Yeah.
Mark
So,
Hatley,
This was the golden generation before
Hatley.
the now known as golden
Gary
generation.
Lineker, Chris Waddle, Viv Anderson, old United player. Chris
Waddle
Woods.
was at Marseille at this time, wasn't he?
Yeah, Peter Weed, Terry Fennick. Terry Fennick was probably at Palace then, I would think.
Gary
Stevens was probably at Chelsea. Peter Reid was at Everton.
Peter Reid. Yeah.
Stephen Everton. Steve Hodge would have been at
Viv
Villa.
Anderson. There's
Johnny
not a name
Bond,
there we would know and probably tell you about.
Trevor Steven.
Newcastle. Trevor Steven at Chelsea, at Everton. Gary Bailey, Manchester United, of course. Kerry Dixon, Chelsea. Steve Hodge, Trevor Steven, Peter Reid. So Chris Woods. Chris Woods was the Sheffield Wednesday goalkeeper. Brilliant goalkeeper. Now, Viv Anderson probably
didn't play for United at that time, did he?
Actually, I think he transferred to.
He was at
Wednesday
United. Yeah, Anderson may well have been at Sheffield Wednesday at that time. I don't know if he was at United then. Mark Hatley. Now, Mark Hatley, would he have been at AC Milan at that time?
Yeah, before he then came back and went to Rangers.
Who was the biggest star? Was it Ray Wilkins or Brian Robson?
Brian Robson.
Are you taking a piss? Glenn Hoddle's in there.
Glenn Hoddle's there, but the biggest
Brian Robson.
Yeah, but he was quite young in '86, wasn't he? I think 1994 was
Jarvis, this team was unbelievable. You had Gary Lineker just before he moved to Barcelona. You had Mark Hatley, who was a beast. Ray Wilkins, Robson, Terry Butcher.
Butcher played for Glasgow Rangers, didn't he?
Who's that?
At that time, Terry Butcher.
No, he was still Chelsea, wasn't he?
Was he? No, he might. Yeah, he might have been at Rangers because he started at Ipswich, so he might have been at Rangers at that time. Wilkins,
Peter Shilton, one of the best keepers in Europe.
Oh, he was brilliant. Shilton, Forest, not Forest.
Chris Waddle was that, like you say, he's there with Maradona with what he could do on the ball.
Yeah,
I think he played for Spurs at that time before he went to Marseille. I think he played for Spurs.
I can't remember. Newcastle, Spurs, Marseille, and Wednesday.
Wednesday.
I only know that because my granddad was a Wednesday fan, so I saw him at the end of his career. I'm just going back to what Nicky said, though. I don't think it's anything to do with setting an example. I think there's a massive misunderstanding of being aggressive and being violent. You know, because
that's the difference.
Football is a sport. Rugby is a sport, and it is an aggressive sport, and it can look violent, and it doesn't mean there's malice after it. Okay, I remember Roy Keane, and let's be fair, forget about the Haaland tackle, talk about the other ones. It was, I'm there, and do you know what? You give each other a pat on the back afterwards, and you knew if I got kicked, you were going to get kicked back. There was an understanding of you're just doing the best thing for your team, and it was about aggression. Nowadays, I coach youth, they don't know why someone would say something to wind them up. You know, they just get angry like that. You said something about my mum. Let's have a punch up. It's like, mate, I was doing it to wind you up. I've won already, haven't I? You know, there's a reason things used to be done, and now everyone is too soft. So aggression and violence, vastly different in sport.
Modernism's killed football. It's killed the excitement.
It's life.
Yeah, life. It's killed the excitement. It's killed a lot. Back then, you won't believe how restrictive those kits were. And when I'm talking restrictive, I mean restrictive. They were tight. They were short.
Nylon, wasn't it? Nylon shorts, barely moving.
You couldn't breathe in the shirts. The restriction. I mean, Nicky's, was born. He's a year older than me because he was born in '69. I was born in '70, and he will tell you, we the pitches were awful. You know, Old Trafford back in the '80s was fucking abysmal. It was a field. You know, and all Birmingham was a field. The Hawthorns was a field.
You had grass in September and you had nothing in April.
Yes, that's right. Well, you had nothing in November.
No, but you know what I mean. As in, what it looked like on the first day.
Grass in August and fuck all by November. It was terrible. You know, but back then, Jarvis, there was two types of studs. There was moulded and there was 6 shooters, and that's 7 shooters if you had mitre back in the day. But there were 6 shooters and moulders. That's all you had. You had socks, which were just socks. They were always bigger, too big for you. The shirts were heavy. They were fucking vile. The shirts were. But
talk about footballs back in the days. How heavy?
Football, I mean, crikey! If you used to get the, and Nicky will remember this. If you got the Mitre Ultimax and you went to head that on a cold fucking day, fuck me. Jesus Christ.
It's hard. Plastic coating at its final things when it had the laminate over the top of it, right? Yeah. The leather still soaks up because it's soaked through the stitching from the underside, right?
Yeah, soaked through the skin. Yeah.
All this bullshit they say the ball still weighs the same, wet or dry. I don't know where they get their stuff from, but come back to when I was getting hit and I was a kid coming into adult football and you start getting hit with one of them in the gut when in the wall. Do you know what I mean? In the wall.
Honestly, you took one of those. Oh, man. they were fucking the old mitre balls. The goalkeeping gloves, right? They were gloves with thin strips of material on both sides. Fucking rubbish. I mean, they were terrible. Your shin pad,
got gardening jobs like that these days.
Your shin pad, you had to put in hot water to try and mold them, and you have to use shoestrings to tie them around. I mean,
you got to remember in the beginning of the 70s, goalkeepers didn't even wear gloves. When
back in the 60s,
also, you could run into the goalkeeper and rugby tackle him into the net. So
yes, you could, and break his neck at the same time and carry on.
And it's not a foul. So, like that's what we're talking about. Really, you're talking about a time comparison, which is impossible. We can't compare 10 years ago in the Premier League to today's game, right? So. Like taking it full circle back to Maradona and everything, the things they did with those balls, I always think about it looking from Bobby Charlton when the guy's whacking the ball in from 40 yards. I'm like, how do you even keep that ball down and straight and hit it that hard and fast?
Oh, it was impossible. It was impossible. Bobby Charlton
he'd put it in orbit.
Yeah, but Bobby Charlton was a freak of nature when it came to ball control and power. An absolute freak of nature. How he used to just absolutely wallop the football.
But if you looked at today's game, he would never get that time to get that shot off because of how fast the game is, how condensed the game is. We do play a very weird version of Bumblebee football still, like little kids when you run around chasing the ball. Now everyone's in their set thing. So Maradona, Jarvis, was a great player of his time. But I don't think he could play in the Premier League now, honestly. I think he could, but I don't think you would see as a bigger talent. But then I would say the same for George Best, Pele, even Gaza, because we've seen what's happened to the closest thing I've seen manipulation of the ball recently, not on their level, but it's Jack Grealish.
Yeah, well, Gaza was on the cusp, wasn't he, of technology. Gaza was playing in and around the cusp of technology when technology came into the game, and football boots became an art and a science, and a football became a science and an art, and shin pads became a fucking art. Jesus, I can't keep going. You know, when we were kids, you used to go to the sports shop, and your mum and dad would pick you out a pair of football boots, whether you liked them or not, and then that was it. And you were given them for 12 months.
Yeah.
And that was it. You know, there was no going back every 3 months like my son had. Jakey, every 3 months, brand new pair of footy boots. Why? Because Rooney's got a different colour. It's the same boot, son. It's a different colour, Dad. It's different. It isn't. It is. You've got 3 Premier League football designs now. 3. We started off with purple, then we went orange, yellow, and now we've gone green. You know, it isn't right. 3 kits. That every 2 years it used to be, Jarvis. Every 2 years to change a football kit. Now it's 3 kits a season. Training kit. You know, I just Manchester United. 3 training kits. Do you remember our black kit was launched? Black shirt, black shorts, black socks, wasn't it? And then we play Brentford and we had to go with yellow fucking shorts. Oh, I want the yellow shorts.
Yeah.
Where do I get the yellow shorts from, Dad? You know, it's just the trouble with football is it's gone commercial. So going back to my original point, Maradona would not have been I'm so glad Maradona was born and played when he did.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't have seen Maradona in today's game.
And by the way, guys, just to end the Maradona segment, the butcher of Bilbao, when he played for Barcelona,
Nadal
took his leg off. Goicoechea, I think his name was.
Are you going about the Nadal played for Barcelona, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is the butcher of Bilbao taking out Maradona's legs. You know, the visual tackle, and you know Maradona on a stretcher. You know, it's not looked good. So
no, because Maradona wouldn't have gone off on a stretcher. Yeah, Nadal was a beast.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's be fair. All right, no, Jarvis, I'll say that back. Vinnie Jones on Eric Cantona.
Yeah,
you've got it in your video.
Yeah, we've seen Vinnie Jones, Eric Cantona. Yeah.
That's the same tackle. It's a very similar leg-breaking tackle.
Well, okay, I can't play this because they say I do. It's we'll probably get copyrighted. But if I frame by frame it, you see he comes in. They look straight leg on Maradona's leg.
Yeah, from behind. Yeah,
from behind. You can even see
Vinnie Jones was up around his waist.
Look at the angle of Maradona's shin.
In the butcher's defence, Jarvis. In the butcher's defence, if you were to go back just a little bit, his initial trajectory was aimed at the ball. He just misjudged it. If you go back a little bit at the beginning, you'll see what I mean. I'm being a bit facetious, obviously. But
yeah, 100%.
Keep going.
Okay. There you go. I think it's more on the camera angle here.
In the central defender's defence, the central defender's union job, he was close to the ball. Do you know, back then though, Jarvis, even today for me, if I can sniff the ball, I'm there.
Yeah.
Mark will tell you. Mark, if I was playing Mark, and Mark might have been bullying me all fucking game, but he knows he makes one mistake, I'm there.
I want to show you half the ball, so you think you've got a chance to make that tackle. Exactly. But I know when I'm doing it to protect myself, right? So it's enticement, and that's sort of gone out the game now. That has gone out the game.
People don't do that. The thing about that is you are trying to protect the ball, but how many times you will have done it? I know you will have done it because you can't help it. Oh shit! I've kicked it. He's got half an inch. Oh fuck! Here it comes.
Well, it just bobbles up. Up. You're taking little touch, and it bobbles, and that little touch might roll a foot ahead in front of you, and that's enough for you to see the
You're doing that, and I'm sliding underneath. Yeah. We both get up and laugh at each other because that's how it used to be. That's how the game used to be.
But the pitch was a leveler there, Stu, because the pitch you were dribbling on something that you couldn't necessarily control. Now you play flatness all the time and you control it.
Yeah, we played at away at Bromsgrove 4 weeks ago when we were on their pitch, their home pitch. It was beautiful and flat, but the grass was bobbly.
Yeah.
What a leveler. Still, to this day, a bunch of 50-year-olds, what an absolute leveler that is. Some of us, no problem. A lot of them, where's the ball gone? Eyes. And you're laying off a 5-yard ball and it's going like that. I haven't seen that for years. But of course, we grew up like that. And you never forget it.
It's also about technique, guys. It's also, if you want to pass the ball correctly, you have to let the ball come behind you, and then you pass, because then the ball will be flat. If you take it in front of you, it will start wobbling. These are things I teach my 9-year-olds. We are training on the basics.
But Jarvis, you will tell your 9-year-olds to come to the ball probably now, right? But when we were growing up,
you have to wait for the ball until you pass it back.
Yeah, but you still need to come towards the ball because someone can come in front of you. Obviously, dying off, right? But when we were growing up, coming towards the ball meant it can potentially jump up and hit you in the bloody nuts because it's flat, jumps up. Do you know what I mean? So it was really hard to come towards the ball, and you were judging how the hell am I going to control this, whether it was fast or slow.
Mark, I played an AstroTurf when I was a kid. And there was a poor AstroTurf, and because of the frost, the field was like this, and it was torn up, and that's those old carpets.
So you played with the little holes in the pitch then.
Yeah, there was holes in it. It was torn up. Yeah. The AstroTurf is terrible.
I've done it as well. Like what we call hockey pitch over here would be their AstroTurf over there.
So we were
either that one or gravel, and. In July and August, you played on grass.
We were really lucky when I was growing up because if you remember, you won't know, Jarvis, but if you remember the School of Excellence, Lilleshall, and I live right by Lilleshall. Lilleshall's 15-minute drive from where I am, and we were the very first. If you remember, you probably might not know this, but we were one of the very first to have a AstroTurf pitch installed up at Lilleshall because of the England setup was there, and we went and played on it a few times, and it was basically a carpet. That's all it was. I mean, if you slid
what on you get on an indoor arena now, not 4G, but an indoor sort of 5-side.
If you slid on that, Jarvis, then and it must have been the same for you. Trust me, you've got no skin left.
Yeah, try being a goalkeeper growing up. I used to train on that with Brighton, Durham Sports Centre. It was a hockey pitch, and we would train on that. So when you're diving on concrete because that's all that's underneath that carpet is concrete.
Oh, it's fucking over. But what I was going to say about grass, my old mate, is when you performed the fabled, we're going to call it the fabled Jarvis Chop on that poor little kid, and his eyes are still on stalks to this day. He's never recovered. It was on the front of the paper. He's never recovered. Kid ruined for life. You still would have been able to pull that off even on a bobbly pitch because you would have known and understood the role of the ball. So what I was doing was for me 4 or 5 weeks ago, it was quite easy to understand the lay of the pitch because I'd played on pitches before, and it was great. But the amount of footballers, lads, that couldn't control the ball on grass was an absolute eye-opener to me. Because we're over 50 now, so I'm sure you appreciate, we play on AstroTurf a lot because we can't always play on our first team. So you know what it's like, Mark. You can't always get your first team's pitch, I would imagine.
We play a lot on 4G, and you're preaching to the converted here because all I do is complain about the under-18s not being able to play on grass pitches anymore. They can't anticipate.
It's a shame.
They don't even have the right footwear.
Oh, no, they don't. No, they don't. I did a show with Jarvis. It was about 8 months ago, Jarvis, when I showed everybody my football. I had all my boots up. Jarvis goes, "Why have you got all of them?" And I had to explain to him what I needed them for. And it's nuts, absolutely nuts. But they don't. How many of your kids, Mark, have got 6 shooters?
None. Very few and far between that I've seen. They're all still wearing the same boots with they're not molds, are they now? But you know what I mean. Plastic studs on a 4G pitch. Yeah. They buy one pair. One pair, and like you say, and then they go buy another pair. So I would have 5 pairs of boots, training, match, grass studs, trainers as well. There'll be a pair of Astro trainers, like Jarvis, what you're talking about, because you play on carpet. You know what I call a carpet pitch. So you'd have the rubber. I'd have the Predator trainers as well as the Predator boots and studs and blades. There's always been different things, but I had rugby studs to put in my normal boots if it was extra, if it had been wet. If it was icy and it was gonna fall.
Highly illegal, by the way. Highly illegal.
Yes.
You want
to try diving off the side of your foot, mate, in goal without any grip.
You'd walk onto the pitch, and the lino back then, Joe, I don't know if it was the same in Norway. I'm sure he said he used to have to check his studs. If you're on the bench,
always, yeah.
Look, absolutely funny as fuck. So if you knew you're on the bench, you couldn't go with the longest studs. You wouldn't be allowed to, because if you go foot up, down, Mark would be going, oh fuck, what am I going to do? You boots, highly fucking illegal because of rugby studs. Fuck me. And they Jesus, I've snapped.
Stu, few weeks back, we were playing a game, and an under 18, clearly rugby boots. They were the ones that Canterbury. Do you know the?
Oh, they were definitely rugby boots then. Yeah, 100%.
We were playing on fucking 4G.
What? Fucking hell!
I was like, ref, being at our home pitch, he's wearing rugby boots. 1, you've not checked anyone's fucking boots. 2, I want him off the pitch now before he rips our pitch up.
I have had so many pairs of shin pads broken with the rugby sticks when I was a kid. Honestly, because they fucking come at you. Need new pads, Dad? Why? They've gone in like 2 hours. Why do you need new pads? Some fucking idiot was wearing rugby stuff right then. Oh, honestly, those are the days. Oh,
I'd wear them for speed. The extra traction you get built on them, mate.
I'm literally drooling now.
Guys,
fucking
sorry to interrupt this. We are past the 2 hour 30-minute mark, and I think it's time to wrap up this this show. It's been a lovely show. We've been looking back at football, old Maradona clips, and talking about football back in the day.
Falling asleep.
I
So
knew it'd be a great show.
This show is getting more and more narrow by the minute.
Sorry, guys. It's my fault. I love the nostalgia. I can't help it. I love it. Absolutely love it. It's crazy. Well, I'm so sorry, guys.
It's been a great show. And I was planning to do a Q&A, but sorry, it's no time. I will have to thank Grace for the lovely super chat.
We're going to do a small show tomorrow, or if there's anything on.
I think it's Champions League night tomorrow.
Oh, it's Champions League night, yeah.
Both. So it probably wouldn't be any use. But Thursday we will be back.
We're back Thursday.
For sure.
Back Thursday.
Yeah.
Just a quick one, guys. If you'd like us to talk about anything nostalgia-wise, or you wanna tell us, get us a topic going in the group about your favourite memory when you were 6 or 7 of playing football, or last week, or any kind of football match, walking football. Have you done the Jarvis chop? Anything you want to talk about. We love stuff like that. Us three will talk forever about it. Absolutely.
And old pictures, if you have anything, send it to us.
Want.
Yeah.
Anything
that would be great.
Want.
Yeah.
I did when I moved into our new place. I did show. I made a point, Mark, showing Jarvis my TV. But as my TV, I put it in a unit. I had trophies fucking everywhere, and I made a point of doing it just for Jarvis. They were fucking everywhere, weren't they, mate?
Mine are in my mum's loft, like in boxes in my mum's loft, because I just don't have anywhere to have them, and it's like I feel like I'm too old to have my trophies up now. That's me. You're clearly the opposite.
No, I was only bragging to my old mate over there, basically. I mean, he knows I was bragging. He thought it was quite funny or sad. I couldn't remember.
No, it's funny. It's funny.
You know,
but we've just done both the girls' bedrooms. So they were twins. They were in one. They've split them into their own bedrooms, which meant I had to move some of my stuff out. And I've got a box with like old paper clippings and things like that in.
Yeah.
So I opened it up going through, and she's like, "Why have you got so many pieces of paper and like newspaper?" I'm like, "Well, this one's about this game I played. This one's about this game I played." And it's got all the write-ups. I was like, "Well, of course I'm going to keep it."
Unfortunately, my ex-wife.
You're in the paper. I was like, "Yeah, I'm in the paper."
My ex-wife binned all my clippings. I chucked them away. Ex-wife, I might put. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Oh, we just secured our place in the fourth division or something at that time. So
how did he have that so quick on hand?
You've always been a handsome devil.
Nah,
that was been a handsome devil. Clearly you're the one on the right.
Well, yeah.
It's like a pre-screening of Wild Boys.
Dude, let me tell you this, and I mean this genuinely. You haven't changed a fucking bit.
No, I haven't.
No, he hasn't. He clearly hasn't. But Jarvis, you could have been in the film Lost Boys out from that photo. I'm telling you now.
You could be.
Benjamin Button.
I was about to say that. He's like,
Jesus Christ.
Oh, probably good genes.
You've got great genes, me old man.
Big up and the madness. Thank you. We are wrapping up the show now, and thank you everybody in boxing and all of you guys for being here with us for 2 hours 35 minutes, and a big thank you to Mark and Stu. Thank you guys. We create. I hope that at least for us, I'm enjoying this. I think you guys enjoyed this, and if you're watching and enjoy it, please smash the like and do us a favor.
Please
leave a comment after the show. Tell us about the old days. Tell us about your football memories and nostalgia. This is a lot of things what football is about.
Or anything, if you're a cyclist, or it doesn't matter, whatever you want to talk about. There's no football really to talk about. And so whatever you think, whatever you want, we're here to talk, because I could talk about anything. Anything.
That's why he's a journalist.
Unfortunately, anyway, on that note, just a quick reminder, Tactical Devils United, we will be co-streaming. We hadn't got it set up properly, or I hadn't, but I have now. So we're going to start co-streaming on he is, isn't he?
Thank you.
We're going to be co-streaming from Thursday. So that's our backup channel for this, just in case anything happens to the main channel. We've got a secondary channel, but we do need to get the hours and the subs up, please. Also, go ahead and subscribe to the United Lens. Mark is slaving away. What you on subs-wise at the minute, bud?
126, 127. I've gone up in the last week since I'd done my in this window, shall we call it, the 24 days of hell. Yes. I did a series about attack, defense, and the youth, and I've gone up about 12 subs just from that alone. So in the last sort of 20 days, which sounds not many, but when you're only down in the hundreds, 10% is a big figure.
Yeah.
But yeah,
you have to start somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. You got to start at the beginning.
You got to start from somewhere. So go ahead and support Mark, please. Boxing.
Come on over.
After what happened to Richie, me and Jarvis had a chat. So Tactical Devils United. I'll put the link in on Thursday for everybody. If you can go in and subscribe, please. It just in case anything happens to our main one, then we can move to our secondary channel.
Well, you can probably explain to everyone what happened when you say that.
We don't know. We don't know. That's the problem. We don't really know, do we? He's had his channel taken down for some reason. We're not quite sure.
He's had his channel taken down, so therefore they want a backup channel. So if it did happen, you guys don't lose out. So please subscribe to both channels.
Yes.
One is only there as a backup.
We won't do any content on the other channel. We will only co-stream and have it as a backup in case. Yes.
Yeah.
So
and the other way is subscribe to me, and if they do disappear on both channels, I'll tell you where they are.
Thanks, Mark.
They bring Nick for tax avoidance with Jimmy Carr.
So if we get taken down, everybody, you know who to blame. The United Lens.
We'll do a video about it.
Yeah, I got those clowns taken down. It's taken me a while, but finally I've done it.
But
And
thank
by
you
the
for
way,
the-
Jim Horton. Who's Jim Horton? Rest in peace.
Mm.
Is a famous British person or?
Oh, I don't know, Steph.
Tim Horton. Tim Horton's. I know about the tea.
No, Tim Horton's a Canadian coffee guy, isn't he?
Coffee. That's it. Yeah. No, Jim Horton. No.
Well,
Stu-
sorry,
Stu-
I don't know who it is, but anyway, rest in peace,
Oh,
Jim.
well, End of Madness knows it as well. So, am I missing someone?
Oh yes, he played for United, Shrewsbury Town, local club. He's a Scottish footballer.
Yeah, I'm thinking before my time.
He was slightly before my time as well, actually.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I can barely
no.
remember people's names from time to time, Steph. I'm not going to lie, so therefore...
he flipped between the 72 and 76, so I'd have only been... So, yes, so even I was too young for that one, Steph. You know, it's not often I'm too young for anything. I noticed you guys brushed it off as if he played for Shrewsbury Town, though. Bless him.
Yeah. So we can just end the show with Big Jim Horton, the unsung hero. United fans used to sing 6'2" eyes of blue. Big Jim Horton's after
Here we
you.
go. Here we go. Yeah, that's exactly what Ender Madness was talking about.
Yes. Lovely. May he rest in peace.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny how they talk about 6 foot tall being tall back then, and now that's the average height of a Premier League footballer?
Hey, the cheek. I was 21 then. The swine. Ender Madness, you swine. Tyrone's in the house.
Big up, Tyrone. Big up. Thank you for dropping by. Yes, but I think that's the Zlatan song. That's where they have this song. 6'2", hardest song.
Well, we just repeat. Yeah, we repeat a lot of songs like that.
That's what my song is at Tipton Town, but it's 5'11", hard as nails.
Yeah, well, I've done it for my nephew today because he scored 2 in a 3-1 victory, and I was like, Robert's on fire. Your defense is terrified. You can do it with any of them. You just get the timing right.
Just before we go, let me see if I can dig out a picture. Just talk for some.
Well, while Stu's looking, guys, I am live tomorrow night at 9. So if you don't want to watch Champions League football, because let's be fair, no one wants to see Arsenal or anyone like that, come over to my stream, and obviously I'll be live every sort of Tuesday, Friday, and Sundays around games.
This is what they're doing for the kids nowadays. This is my little nephew. Don't know if you can see it.
No, tilt it. You got glare.
I'll send it to Jarvis, and because he went from hero to villain to hero. Yeah, hold on one sec. I'll just send it to Jarvis.
Okay. While we wait, we can just talk quickly about the Champions League. Is today, or because, well, at least in Norway, it's past midnight. Yes. So tomorrow night, we will see Real Madrid against Bayern Munich, Sporting against Arsenal, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, and PSG Liverpool. So it will be a exciting evening tomorrow.
I'm really looking forward to the Barcelona PSG game.
Madrid.
No. I'm looking forward to the Barcelona PSG game when it happens.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing Sporting get smashed. But I think the best game probably is likely to be Real Madrid.
Bayern, right? Are you thinking because Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, they're used to playing each other?
I think Real Madrid go through. Have you got that picture, me old mate?
WhatsApp.
Yes, it's on WhatsApp. It's just to show you what they're doing for the kids today, which I thought this is brilliant. His manager put that together. I thought it was absolutely superb.
Yeah. So I've just seen, while you guys are sorting that out, I've just seen in the chat, Arsenal have buckled, End of Madness says, and I sort of in agreement here, like to lose those 2 games last night. Yeah, and then your next game be the fucking first leg of your Champions League. I really wouldn't want that. I need a league game. I need to get back into winning ways. but they're going to go in on potentially if they slip up and don't get a convincing win against Sporting, which they should.
They should.
Big game for Gyökeres, massive game for Gyökeres. That is,
He's got to go and score a hat trick, hasn't he?
He's got to score a hat trick.
Yeah.
But Real Madrid Bayern, I think it's a game of these four.
I'll be watching Real Madrid Bayern. That's the one
I think Bayern knock them out.
There it is.
There it is.
What are they doing for the kids today? It's mint, isn't it? Absolutely mint.
The match day chronicle.
Yeah, it's my little nephew, Will. He's 13 years old, so he he almost got sin bin for being a bit trappy and a bit mouthy to the ref, which I didn't condone at all. And I never patted him on the back and said, well done, because I think it's disgraceful. But he scored 2 brilliant goals, and there you go. And that's what they do now for the kids, which I wanted to show you because I just thought it was really cool.
Nice.
So that's my little nephew. Very proud of him. He's a very good player. Very good.
That's the sign of a good club that does stuff like that.
Yeah. And he just takes it as if, you know, whatever. He's like, whatever. He's as cool as ice. He's like my old mate in the top left as I'm looking at him. He's as cold as ice, cool as a cucumber.
Hey, never be too high, never be too low.
Correct.
Okay, 2 hours, 45 minutes. 99 of you still watching on X and some of you on YouTube. So it's been a great show. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And go watch Mark's show tomorrow night. Was it 9 p.m.?
9 p.m. Yeah.
9 p.m. on United Lens. We will be back Thursday night, I believe. And there will be some Champions League coming up the next couple of days. So there will be at least some football to watch. So, guys, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And we will be back on Thursday, Mark, tomorrow night, 9 p.m. So go check out United Lens. Okay, have a good night. And bye-bye.
Bye-bye.